225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. The season's over for Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson. He'll undergo immediate surgery to repair a fracture in his throwing shoulder to avoid further structural damage. Expected to be back for the start of next season. The Browns opting to start rookie Dorian Thompson-Robinson over P.J. Walker on Sunday against the Steelers. Freddie and Harry co-host, Harry Douglas.
His upside in being able to be a threat and pose a threat to the opposing team defense is higher than P.J. Walker. I think we already know the ceiling of P.J. Walker. Yeah. We don't know the ceiling of Dorian Thompson-Robinson and some of the things that he's able to do from the arm strength and creativity.
Bengals receiver T. Higgins out of tomorrow night's big showdown against the Ravens with a hamstring injury. Bears plan to start quarterback Justin Fields at Detroit on Sunday. He's been out the last 4 games with a dislocated thumb. ESPN's Jeff Passan reports Major League Baseball's competition committees weighing a proposal that would reduce the pitch clock with runners on base from 20 to 18 seconds. Another proposal heard would cut mound visits from 5 per game to 4 per game. NBA Bucks forward Giannis Antetokounmpo out tonight against the Raptors with a strained calf.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. They're close, convenient, and have the parts you need fast, along with excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, Matt.
Hey, shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Yusuf. And Mr. Toby Tumpley. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Oh, by the way, it's a hump day.
It's hump day.
Let's hump, everybody.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Malik Nabers. Hump day. Put some respect on that man's name.
It's hump day.
Shawn Elliott.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
His team is not going to stop Malik Nabers on Saturday. Nope, that's not going to happen. Nope. But he's going to be here in 30 minutes.
It's hump day.
Grab!
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
1 hour from right now.
Hump day.
We got Pluckers Trivia.
It's hump day.
We got Bourbon Dictionary.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
We got Russ Mitchell.
Hump day.
We got a lot to do, so let's get to it. All right, y'all. There we go. I'm going to move that over right there. All right, ton to do. Let us push off from the dock as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
We have spent the lion's share of this week talking about Jayden Daniels, and why not? Jayden Daniels is the best player in college football. His star continues to rise. His Heisman odds grow shorter. There are draft analysts talking more and more about the sensational LSU quarterback who is the best player in college football right now. And as a result, we are not giving as much attention to someone who deserves it as well, and that is LSU wide receiver Malik Nabers. If you haven't checked, Malik Nabers presently, as we all know, is leading the country in receiving yards with 1,284 receiving yards through 12 games. He's also got 72 receptions. He is absolutely in fuego right now, averaging just under 18 yards a catch and 128.4 yards per game. Malik Nabers is having a for-the-ages season, one of the greatest seasons we've ever seen at LSU and in SEC history. But right now, Malik Nabers has the second best Heisman odds. Malik Nabers has the second best Biletnikoff odds behind only Marvin Harrison Jr. of Ohio State. Now, Malik Nabers met with reporters on Tuesday after practice, and he was asked point blank about the Biletnikoff and if that was a goal. Here's what he said.
Especially, after seeing Jamar win that, his last season here, it was always a receiver goal when I came to LSU to also win the Biletnikoff.
Okay. So, point blank, Malik Nabers saying it was a goal coming to LSU to win the Biletnikoff. You got two winners in LSU history, Josh Reed in 2001, Jamar Chase 2019, and hopefully Malik Nabers here in 2023. But he's got work to do. Marvin Harrison Jr. is the current odds-on favorite at minus 320. Malik Nabers is next at plus 250. So, if you're not familiar with how odds work, just very quickly, minus 320 means you'd have to bet $320 to win 100. Plus 250 means if you bet 100 and win, you win $250. So, it's a pretty significant, pretty heavy favorite right now for Marvin Harrison. The kind of crazy thing about it, though, is when you look at the two so far through 10 games, it's not really close. Malik Nabers has 72 catches, Marvin Harrison Jr. 59. So Nabers has 13 more receptions than Harrison Jr. On receiving yards, Malik Nabers 1,284, Harrison 1,063. So he's about 221 yards. So 13 catches and 221 yards more than Marvin Harrison Jr. Now, on touchdowns, Harrison's got 12, Nabers has 10. Yards per catch, they're dead even. Harrison's at 18, Malik is at 17.8. They're virtually even. And so you might look at it and say, well, Nabers is leading the nation in receiving. If over the next 2 weeks he continues to put up stats at this level, he should win the Biletnikoff. Not exactly. And here's what kind of sucks about it. Take the last 10 Biletnikoff Award winners. Of the last 10 Biletnikoff Award winners, only 4 led the nation in receiving. Devontae Smith in 2020, Jamar Chase in 2019, James Washington from Oklahoma State back in 2017, and Brandon Cooks back in 2013. That's it. It's more likely for the winner of the Biletnikoff not to be the nation's leading receiver. Like Jordan Addison 2 years ago was 4th in the country in receiving yards. Jerry Jeudy back in 2018 won the Biletnikoff as the nation's 10th leading receiver. D.D. Westbrook in 2016 was 6th. Corey Coleman from Baylor back in 2015 was 9th. So just being atop the national receiving yards leaderboard doesn't equate to winning the Biletnikoff. And that's unfortunate because that's working against Malik Nabers. And what Marvin Harrison Jr. has going for him are two things. Number one, it's name recognition. It's Marvin Harrison's kid. Everyone who watches football has watched Marvin Harrison play forever, and we got to watch Marvin Harrison Jr. in the Ohio State, that great Rose Bowl, and he and that whole offense, Jackson Smith and Jigba carried it through to this year. Jackson Smith and Jigba had the amazing Rose Bowl, and we remember that. We forget Marvin Harrison got hurt in that game, still had an amazing game before he got hurt. So he had the name recognition. He already, from just literally his name, is his dad's name, who's a Hall of Famer. And then he had the name recognition from having a great career up until this point, and he's also playing in meaningful games. So Ohio State right now is undefeated, and they're ranked number 2 in the country, and they've got 2 games left at home against Minnesota, and then, of course, the game against Michigan. For Malik Nabers to win the Heisman, 2 things have to happen. Number 1, over the next 2 weeks, Malik Nabers needs to continue to stat compile. He's got to maintain his lead atop the national receiving yards leaderboard and just ball out against Georgia State and against A&M. Like, LSU has to be very intentional about forcing the football to Malik Nabers so he goes off. And Marvin Harrison needs to get shut down. This week against Minnesota, next week in the game against Michigan at the Big House. I mean, if Marvin Harrison is non-existent the next 2 weeks and Nabers just starts to pull away and boat race him, that's how you could see that gap close. It may not be enough to overtake the name recognition and brand recognition that Marvin Harrison Jr. already has, but Malik Nabers is certainly deserving of the award. But so much goes into this aside from just who's putting up the best numbers in a given season. I'll remind you, Josh Reed in 2001, he set an SEC record with 145 yards per game that year. He only 12 games, remember, for Josh Reed counted because the bowl game didn't count. They played 11 regular season games. They beat Tennessee in the SEC championship game, which is 12, and then they played the bowl game where he went off for over 200 yards against Illinois. That didn't count. So Josh Reed's number actually would be higher than the 145. But the 12 games that he played, 145 receiving yards per game, that's still an SEC record. Jamar Chase in 2019 only played in 14 games. He missed the Northwestern State game. So Josh Reed in 2019 in 14 games played averaged 127 yards per game. Right now, Malik Nabers is at 128.4. So Malik Nabers is barely, but he is nosing past that incredible. Think about how great Jamar Chase was that year, and Nabers is outpacing him right now. Now, Nabers isn't going to play in 15 games, so the cumulative sum of his numbers aren't going to reach what Jamar Chase did, but the averages will. That's pretty incredible in and of itself. Let's hope Malik Nabers really stat pads the next 2 weeks, and hope Marvin Harrison gets shut down over the next 2 weeks as well. And you may have your third Biletnikoff Award winner. All right, it's After Further Review. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. Our show Open Every Day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy in Louisiana with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of the LSU Tigers, the official beer of the New Orleans Saints. I'm excited about this. On Monday, we're going to announce we'll open up our next giveaway, courtesy of our friends at Mockler Beverage. Of course, great community partners. They do amazing giveaways. They gave us College World Series tickets to give away. They gave us tickets to the LSU-Alabama game a couple of weeks ago. And our next giveaway is going to be 4 tickets to the Saints-Lions game and 4 pregame field passes. On the field, pregame, in the dome, and 4 tickets to Saints-Lions. We're going to start that entry on Monday, so make sure you're here with us on Monday for that. All right, drink easy in Louisiana with Bud Light, the official beer of AFR. All right, let me knock out a quick break. We're going to flip things a little bit. When we come back, we'll go around the SEC. Georgia State is coming into Tiger Stadium this weekend. Their head coach, Shawn Elliott, is going to be with us 18 minutes from right now, right at the bottom of the hour. You'll want to be here for that. Don't you move. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. Keep reminding y'all, remember the cool weather is here. I mean, we're in the 50s today. You're waking up. It's been cold outside. Maybe you've been turning on that heater at night. Before you crank up that heater, make sure you call our friends at River City's 1 Hour Air for that preseason heater safety check. I love reading you 5-star Google reviews. Here's one from Michelle Mondello, who said, River City's 1 Hour Air helped us in a very stressful time. They were patient and understanding with us. Everyone who came in our home was hardworking and very professional. They cleaned up afterwards. We were very happy with their work. Another 5-star Google review for River City's 1 Hour Air. Go read them for yourself. And if you have trouble with your HVAC system, make sure you trust the best. The big yellow vans and trucks with the giant clock on the side. It's River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001. 752-0001 for River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Bayou Ford is taking $10,000 off MSRP on all new 23 Ford F-150 Black Widow trucks, plus $2,750 discount APR and 5.9% for 72 months. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
His name was King. He had a horse along the countryside. I saw him ride. One day they found him.
Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Pluckers Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Pluckers Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
I'm glad you're rolling along with us here. Taysom Hill in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. How about it? This was really cool. The Pro Football Hall of Fame tweeted a photo of Taysom Hill's uniform from his game a couple of weeks ago when he made NFL history. Of course, Taysom Hill recently became the second player, the first player since Frank Gifford to score at least 25 rushing touchdowns, 10 receiving touchdowns, and 10 passing touchdowns. And so as a result of his day, that day in the Dome, Taysom Hill, the Pro Football Hall of Fame, put Taysom Hill's uniform there. So it's his jersey, his cleats, his wristband from that day as well. So Taysom Hill on display in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, which is really cool. It's from their Week 9 win over the Chicago Bears in the Dome. And thankfully, Pete Carmichael threw a wet blanket on this celebration by giving Taysom Hill 1 rushing attempt and 2 receptions a week after making NFL history. So you wait 60 years for NFL history with Taysom Hill, and then, Pete Carmichael says, screw it. Yeah. Give him a carry. Token carry. I'm so glad the Saints don't play this weekend. I shouldn't say it that way, but I'm glad. I need a Sunday off, as do I think many of you. But maybe Taysom during his bye week can fly the family up to Canton and then go check out his uniform there at the Pro Football Hall of Fame, which is, in and of itself, really cool, just to think that you have a display at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So congrats to Taysom Hill on that and the great history he made earlier this season. All right, it's after further review. Glad you're with us. We're brought to you by Michelli weighing and measurement. Michelli.com. We've got Georgia State head coach Shawn Elliott coming up in 10 minutes. We'll go around the SEC in just a quick second. But, of course, Michelli, if you weigh or measure something, they sell, service, rent the products that you use to weigh and measure. More than 30 offices across 11 different states. Incredible people. And they are locally owned and operated as they've continued to expand their footprint, which is pretty amazing. I mean, you can walk into their office right there in Harahan. I mean, walk in the door, first office on the left. That's our buddy Joel McMullen, president and CEO. He's right there. Walk in the door and go talk to the head man. I mean, that's what it's like whenever you do business with a great local company. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Again, ISO 17025 accreditation is available. Their track system allows you 24/7, 365 access to all of your calibration certificates. So I understand for a lot of people, you're not in these industries, it doesn't mean much. But you know if you're in any of those industries, from industrial, of course, or mechanical, if it's agriculture, my goodness. You know, so you get audited. Well, you need to know down to what technician calibrated your device on the day and time. Boom, boom, it's there for you 24/7, 365. It just makes you more efficient. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com, Michelli.com. Okay, we do it every day about this time. Actually, we do it every day, usually about 15 minutes from right now. But because we have Georgia State head coach Shawn Elliott coming up, let's do it right now. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions. The Georgia Bulldogs.
Nasir Johnson, a four-star defensive line prospect who had been committed to the Florida Gators, flipped to Georgia, his home state Bulldogs. He's a 6'5", 315-pounder, the number 171 overall player, the 21st best defensive tackle, and the 24th best player in Georgia, staying home.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
Running back Jason Patterson out of Florida has flipped his commitment from Cincinnati to Kentucky. He's the 22nd commit for Mark Stoops. He's the 25th best running back in the country, 5'11", 200 pounds. He flipped to Kentucky, also with offers from Boston College, Rutgers, and Vanderbilt.
The South Carolina Gamecocks.
South Carolina offensive coordinator Dowell Loggins was asked about being a potential candidate to join Sam Pittman's staff at Arkansas to replace Dan Enos, the fired OC. And when asked about it, Loggins said, quote, "I understand why my name comes up there. I went to school there. I was born there. I played football there. My wife was a cheerleader there. She's from Arkansas. I had an unbelievable opportunity to go back and coach in my alma mater, which was awesome. I hope that everyone gets that, who aspires to get that. On the flip side, this is what I really believe in Coach Beamer, and I believe in what we do here." Doesn't sound super convincing. I think we could file that under the non-denial denial. Gamecocks 4-6 overall, 8th in the SEC in total offense, 11th in scoring offense. On the hardwood around the league last night, number 17 Kentucky fell in the State Farm Champions Classic to number 1 Kansas, 89-84. Number 7 Tennessee beat Wofford 82-61. Texas A&M went on the road to SMU and had no trouble, 79-66. Alabama routed South Alabama, 102-46. Florida beat Florida A&M 89-68. Mississippi State trounced North Alabama 81-54. Vanderbilt squeaked past UNC Greensboro 74-70, and Ole Miss by a hair beat Detroit Mercy 70-69. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy Trey Beal and our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products. Remember, if you need office equipment, you need our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products. GCOPnet.com. GCOPnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. Face-to-face sales, service after the sale. That's what you always get at Gulf Coast Office Products. We're going to talk to Shawn Elliott again in 7 minutes from right now, head coach at Georgia State. I want to talk about him bringing his squad into Tiger Stadium this weekend. Shawn Elliott actually has experience in Tiger Stadium. We'll talk about that with the coach coming up here in less than 10 minutes from right now. Aaron Rodgers has been a giant question mark all year because, of course, he got injured 4 plays into the season, and then we've seen him out on the field pregame throwing passes. He made the comment a couple of weeks ago that he's a couple of weeks away, then had to clarify. Rodgers was on the McAfee show and gave a timeline that surprised an awful lot of people.
I'm going to be back there full-time real soon.
Really?
Breaking? No, that's always been the plan. The plan has been, once we got to Thanksgiving, was to be back there full-time.
Now, Okay. Sometimes we have like a semantics conversation. What does it mean to be back there full time? Like, does that mean practicing again, full speed, full go, or just back in the building full time, continuing your rehab and that whole program? For whatever it's worth, Robert Saleh, the Jets head coach, was asked about Rodgers and his timeline to return and playing this year, and here's what Saleh said.
But at the same time, Aaron's a big boy, grown man, and no one's going to know Aaron's body like Aaron knows his body. And if he feels, after all the doctors clear him, and I'm sure there's a million of them, I have no idea on that stuff. But if Aaron says he wants to play, he's going to play.
Yo. Aaron's a big boy. If Aaron says he wants to play, he's going to play. That I don't have any frame of reference for a player coming back that quickly from an Achilles injury. The only one I remember in my life that could be considered that quick was Sheldon Rankins. Sheldon Rankins got hurt in the playoffs and was back to start the next season. And when you normally hear of a big man with an Achilles injury, you think DeMarcus Cousins. Like, all right, that's a year. And Sheldon Rankins, big 300-pound dude, a ton of torque, obviously playing a lot on your toes. And he gets injured in January, and he's back ready to roll in August. Like, that was pretty stunning that he did that in 7 months, really, 8 months, really. I mean, Rodgers doing this? I mean, he got hurt in September. You're talking 10 weeks. I mean, that would have to be some type of incredible record if he's actually back on the field practicing at anything comparable to full speed. We'll keep an eye on it. I don't think it's going to make the Jets markedly better, but it would just be a stunning human achievement to be back from a ruptured Achilles that quickly. We'll keep an eye on it. All right. It's After Further Review. Hump Day Show is brought to you by Pluckers. We'll knock out a quick break. When we come back, Georgia State head coach Shawn Elliott will be here. Looking forward to talking to the head man as he comes into Tiger Stadium this weekend. Don't you move.
AFR.
Man, we've had a lot of rain over the past couple of days, and tell you what, we needed it here in this part of the state where it had been so dry. But with rain comes leaky roofs. And if you have a leaky roof, Hudco Roofing can help. HudcoRoofing.com, HudcoRoofing.com. I tell you every day, do business with someone you know. That's me, that's Terrio, that's Richard Tilley, that's our partners, that's Jeff and Sherry Hudson, that's John Michael Garcia. No matter where you are in what corner of the state of Louisiana, if you have a roof issue, we'd love the opportunity to earn your business. Hudco Roofing and HudcoRoofing.com. You can give us a call. The Baton Rouge number is 364-1007, 364-1007, 364-1007. Or if you're in any other part of the state, go to the website, HudcoRoofing.com. You can fill out the form on the website, or you can look at the top of the website, and you'll see the phone number for whatever area code you're in. It's Hudco Roofing. From the smallest repair job to the largest commercial re-roof, Hudco Roofing can help. Do business with someone you know. Hudco Roofing and online at HudcoRoofing.com.
At Corval Toyota in Opelousas, we're featuring 2023 Toyota Tundras with $2,000 bonus cash. $2,000 bonus cash offer on Toyota Tundras. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Scoocha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water. They can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines. Or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. all of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, they've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family of front-to-back boat service.
Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Pluckers Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Pluckers Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Saturday night in Tiger Stadium, LSU and Georgia State. Their head coach, Shawn Elliott's in his 7th season, good enough to join us for a couple of minutes here. Coach, we appreciate a couple of minutes. Thanks for the time. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Man, I'm doing awesome. This is for your team going to be their first time in Tiger Stadium. For you, not so much. You were here in 2008 with Appalachian State. You were here in 2015 in what ended up being Coach Spurrier's final game at South Carolina. Neither one went great for your guys. You got any fond memories of coming down to Baton Rouge?
Yeah, my first time was there was 2005 against LSU. It was real similar to this time of the year, or a little close. I think we played them late November, and that was our first national championship at App State. And I think we played them, if I remember correctly. I think it was a really close ball game there.
Right.
Going into the fourth quarter, it was like 7-0. I think they ended up winning 24-10 or 21-7, if I can remember correctly. But that was a great experience that night. And then I was at South Carolina in 2012 when we came down there and we lost 23-21. I think we were both top 5 ranked, and those were good matchups. And then we actually played a 10 o'clock game down there in 2008 because of a hurricane, and that was just very unusual. So, I haven't got a win there in Tiger Stadium, but looking forward to coming back.
What are you going to tell your players? This is the first Power 5 road game for your team this year. What are you going to tell your players about the environment and the challenge of coming to Baton Rouge to play LSU?
Well, the challenge is just like you talk about every single week. You got to go out there and you got to execute well. You got to understand, hey, there's going to be a lot of doggone fans in that stadium that are pulling for the home team, and it's going to be a great experience. But you're going to have to, really focus and keep that really out of your mind and focus on the task at hand and going out and trying to play a really good, clean ball game against a well-coached group like the LSU Tigers.
When Shawn Elliott's our guest, and Coach, I heard you earlier this week at your media availability talk about how excited you were to be able to come play this game in Baton Rouge. I think a lot of coaches look at these challenges differently. Like some coaches look at it to say, my primary focus is I'm trying to get to bowl eligibility. My primary focus is to win my conference. It sounded different from you when I heard you say that earlier this week. Could you elaborate a little bit on why you're excited for this challenge to bring your team into Baton Rouge?
Well, I think it's one of the more unique places to play in all of college football. I think the tradition, the pageantry that LSU has, and everything that comes along with it is just, I think it's magic. I really do. I've really enjoyed it. All the times that I've been down there. I think it's an awesome place to play. I think the fans are incredible, and I just think the experience is something that everybody, whether you play the game of college football or you're a fan of college football, needs to experience. And that's what I'm really excited about. And then we get a chance to go out and play a really good football team, probably one of the best players in all of the country. And I think that challenge in itself is worth the trip. I mean, when you get to go and match up with a guy like your quarterback's got down there, and I think that's exciting times. I think anybody that's a competitor wants to go down there and wants to challenge that and wants to see what happens.
How do you try to put together a game plan to defend against Jayden Daniels, who's, you said, I mean, he's been electric. He's kind of been unstoppable all year. So if you can't stop him, how do you start to put together a plan to try to slow him?
Listen, how do you? I mean, I don't think you can. I mean, you honestly, he's going to get his regardless. He's that special of an athlete. You try to keep everything in front of you right there and limit the explosive plays for him is what you try to limit. Can we do that? I to be honest with you, it's going to be a tall task. We're going to give everything we got. We've got nothing to lose coming down here and going down there and playing Saturday night at 8 o'clock. So we'll give them everything we got. We'll throw everything we can. We'll try to slow that guy down and see what happens.
But your team is averaging close to 30 a game. It's been a tough 3-game skid here, which we'll get to that in a second. But it's also no secret, Coach, that LSU's defense, I mean, you've seen plenty of LSU defenses, your time in South Carolina. This doesn't look like an LSU defense. So what opportunities are there for your offense maybe to get rolling again this week?
Well, I think, first of all, we've got to get our confidence back. And I know this is going to be a tough place to go play to build a confidence back in an offense that's kind of lost it the last couple of weeks. But we've got a talented quarterback. We've got really good skill position players. We got, I think, our tailback's the third leading rusher in the country. And we're going to come after them. I mean, we're not going down. Listen, this ain't a check game. A lot of these teams go down here, and this time of the year, they go and they collect their check. Hell, we're coming down here to play a damn football game. We're going to doggone strap it up. We're going to hit them as hard as we can. We're going to block. We're going to tackle. We're going to try to execute them. We're going to try to outsmart them. I think that's where we can equalize this thing. Play smart and efficient offense, defense, and special teams, and try to go see what can happen.
It's worth noting that when you say it's not a check game, you were part of the greatest example of that in college football history when App State won at the Big House. You were an assistant on that team. You reference that with your guys ever?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I tell them point blank, I scheduled this game. No one came to me and said, hey, let's go play LSU. I mean, there was an opportunity there, and I said, we're going to play LSU. Get it done. I mean, that's what I want. I want challenges. In your life, you want to have challenges in your life. They're not always going to be successful, but when you go and you push the envelope and you challenge yourself in your football team, whether it's in life or on the football field, then you're going to be better because of it. And I think this is a great challenge for our football program. It's something that I wanted our guys to experience, and I wanted the opportunity to go play.
Panthers are 6-1 before the 3-game skid. Coach, what has gone wrong primarily I guess on both sides of the ball here over this 3-game skid for your guys?
Yeah, we were playing really good ball right there at midway through the season. We were 6-1, and we just defeated Louisiana. But in the second half of the Louisiana game, we kind of faltered. Our defense really played pretty well in the second half. We had to make a game-winning interception to win that ball game. There was something that kind of changed right there. We had a guy and our quarterback that took a little hit right there before the second half, and for whatever reason, I personally, I think possibly it's affected us. He's the barometer of our football team. I mean, how he goes is how we go, and we got to get him back where he's on fire. He has that fever to play, and it's not like he's lost it. He's just in that little rut that we got to find it. And what a great opportunity to go out here and be successful. I think we play on ESPN2 right there at 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock your time. And I think that is one hell of an opportunity to find that fever.
Coach, I got 2 more things for you. Shawn Elliott's our guest, Georgia State head coach, number 1. In your 4 trips to Baton Rouge, did anybody treat you well? Like, do you have any good memories, or were you tiger baited the whole time? And the stories we always hear about buses rocking and things being thrown at the visiting team?
Well, let me tell you, in 2015, when I was at South Carolina, we were actually scheduled to play a home game in Columbia that year. And because we had some real serious flooding in Columbia, it displaced our football program, displaced me and my family and our home, and we had to move our home game there at South Carolina to Baton Rouge. And to be honest with you, the experience we had that day, that they turned Tiger Stadium and really into our home game. And it was really strange, but we went down there. They embraced us. They took us in, and I don't want to say they made us feel at home, but I don't think there was any fingers being thrown up at us or anybody throwing anything at us. It was a great game, and that experience really stood out.
I remember when that was when Leonard Fournette had his great season and auctioned off his jersey for flood relief as well. It was a great thing.
That is exactly right. He sure did, and I think he ran over us for about 250 yards.
He did that to everybody that year, at least for the first 2 months of the season. All right, I got to ask, because anytime I ever have a chance to talk to anybody about the 07 Michigan App State game, I have to ask. Through your eyes, I would love to know, like when I mention that game, just boom, the first thing that comes to mind. We all have the image, right, of the blocked field goal attempt, and we can hear the call. Appalachian, have beaten the Michigan Wolverines. For as long as you're blessed to live life, and someone brings up that game, boom, what's the first thing that you're going to mention?
The first thing I mentioned is that we knew we could win, and that may sound crazy. But we were a talented football team. We had just won 2 previous national championships. We had a dynamic quarterback. We had unbelievable speed at the wide receiver. And we knew going in, when we watched them defensively, we knew we were going to take advantage of our speed. They just didn't have that speed. They had the size, but they didn't have the speed from us. And I remember sitting in our meeting room, and we only watched them for about 10 days prior. And we all were like, hey, we can go run with these guys.
What a day that was. One that every college football fan will remember forever. Coach, I hope there's not another one of those Saturday night in Tiger Stadium, selfishly. But
I can tell you what, if there is, I'm going to find you, and we're going to sit down, we're going to reminisce about that game and Michigan and all these other games. We're going to have a cold beer, too. How about that?
I'll let you buy. How about
I'll definitely buy.
I bet you would. Coach, it's a pleasure. Thanks so much for a couple of minutes today.
Yeah, I appreciate you. We'll see you Saturday night.
That is Shawn Elliott, the head coach of the Georgia State Panthers. They're coming into Baton Rouge. You could tell, if you remember that game in 2015 that he referenced, that ended up being wait, real quick. Let me remind you about Traction. I'll finish that thought, I promise. Tractionsports.com. Next week, a week from tomorrow, Thanksgiving. Of course, a lot of kiddos are out of school next week. If your son or daughter is out of school, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, remember, Traction has their holiday camps, and they're enrolling right now. Tractionsports.com to go enroll. Tractionsports.com, age 5 to 12. They got the baseball camp and the Traction speed camp. So baseball instruction or speed for any sport, full and half-day options are available, again, for Thanksgiving week, Christmas week, and for New Year's. So while your son or daughter's out of school, if you need something for them to do while you're at work, for them for the day, Traction is a great opportunity for them to get better while they're out of school. Tractionsports.com to register. Tractionsports.com. Traction, where champions are made. That 2015 game in Baton Rouge ended up being, if you remember, Steve Spurrier's final game as the head coach at South Carolina. So they came. It was a rough year for the Gamecocks. After they had the back-to-back 11-win seasons, the program started to wane. After that, those great recruiting classes that had, Marcus Lattimore and Alshon Jeffrey and Jadeveon Clowney and Connor Shaw and Devin Taylor. I mean, they had some. I'm leaving off guys. But they had some amazing players. And they just didn't replenish the cupboard after that. But Shawn Elliott was known as a great recruiter. And whenever Steve Spurrier resigned after the LSU game, Shawn Elliott was promoted to interim head coach. And even after that, when they hired, didn't Muschamp follow Spurrier? Wasn't Muschamp? I'm just making sure I got all that. Yeah. So when they hired Muschamp retained Shawn Elliott for the next year. And then Elliott in 2017 became the head coach at Georgia State, where he's been ever since. But you can tell why he was an obvious choice to replace Steve Spurrier as that interim head coach. And I really wonder if I've thought about this in the past. And a different week with a different time, and I have time to talk to Shawn Elliott. Maybe I'd ask him this question. But obviously it's a game week, and he's getting his team ready to come play in Baton Rouge, and it's more about his team in this week. But I would be really curious to know his thoughts. And if the powers that be at South Carolina, Ray Tanner, of course, the AD, if they have any regret about letting Shawn Elliott leave. Because it's not apples to apples, but there is some school of thought, especially with Clemson right there with Dabo, to say, could Shawn Elliott who had never been a coordinator, could he have been South Carolina's Dabo? Dabo was a receivers coach. He was a good recruiter and basically was a good leader of men. And they promoted Dabo as an interim, and then he got the job permanently. And it took him some time to build, but they got over the Clemsoning, and look at what they've been. They've been right alongside Alabama and Georgia as the most dominant programs in college football over the last 10 years. But I really wonder if South Carolina, in hindsight, instead of going and getting their splash, with Will Muschamp, who was a hot name at the time. Remember, he was an interim or he was the coach in waiting at Texas when that was a thing. He got the Florida job, didn't work out. If Muschamp, I wonder if they could do it over if they would have, instead of going the Muschamp route, retained Shawn Elliott, because the players loved him. He was a hell of a recruiter, and he's clearly shown during his time at Georgia State that he's a really good head coach. They've won a lot of games at Georgia State. It's just you're going to have. He was 7-5 his first year. They went 2-10 in year 2, but then 7, 6, 8, 4-8, then 6-4. He's won a lot there. Anyway, appreciate Shawn Elliott for a couple minutes here on game week. All right, I got to hustle. My apologies. We'll break. Come back. We'll do Bourbon Dictionary with Taylor Calandro next.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Pluckers, Nicholson, Bluebonnet, dine-in, carry-out, or delivery tonight and every Wednesday. It is trivia at both Pluckers locations. Live action trivia. Get your team together. Go test your knowledge. Win Pluckers gift cards. Spin the prize wheel. Win Amazon gift cards. Remember, every team, even if you don't win a round, you still get to spin the prize wheel. So every team is going to win something. Maybe it's free food from Pluckers tonight and every Wednesday at Pluckers. Remember, 7:30 at Bluebonnet, 8 o'clock at Nicholson. Yes, it's about trivia tonight. It's award-winning jumbo chicken wings. It's ice-cold draft beer. It's a full-service bar. But at Pluckers, there's always sports on TV as well. Of course, you got college football tonight. The second round of Maction is tonight. No matter what you're looking to watch, if it's the NBA, the NHL, they got you covered at Pluckers. And, of course, for your football weekends, your college football Saturdays, your NFL Sundays, Pluckers has you covered. Nicholson, Bluebonnet, dine-in, carry-out, or delivery. Tonight and every Wednesday's trivia at Pluckers. Remember, if you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Bayou Ford is taking $10,000 off MSRP on all new 23 Ford F-150 Black Widow trucks, plus $2,750 discount APR and 5.9% for 72 months. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Relentless reporting gets results.
I'm never going to stop until we get the answers you need.
Uncovering more as the powerful try to cover things up.
What happens in the dark will always come to light.
Founding new principles and practices for the state of Louisiana.
Chief Investigative Reporter Chris Nakamoto.
Chris Nakamoto and the Investigative Unit. Recipients of Columbia University's prestigious DuPont Award.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours emergency.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Pluckers Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Pluckers Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
They're the gang with the slang. This is Bourbon Dictionary with Matt Moscona and Taylor Calandro.
All right, wrapping up hour number one. Let's talk booze. Get your questions in for Taylor Calandro. You can tweet us, you can text us, you can email, or you can text 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Taylor, how are you, dude?
Good. How you doing, Matt?
Really well, man. I love this weather. It is finally, it's just whiskey weather. I mean, this is just
it's been goofy weather the past 2 days.
I mean, it's just where we live. But you give me this, it means it's time to go start tapping into the stock, and I'm excited about it. What's new?
Absolutely. We had some. We got some new Smoke Wagon, just a straight bourbon, 92 proof. If you haven't had Smoke Wagon, it's really good. It's only $30 too, which I really, really love.
Real quick, Smoke Wagon's out of Vegas, and it was like they didn't distribute here for a long time, right? It's a relatively new thing that you can get it here now.
Yeah, I mean the distillery itself is only a few years old. And we just started getting it within the last 6 months. It's been available in Texas for the past couple of years and other bigger markets, I think. But it's new to us, and the first drop we got was a few months ago, and it flew. We had some of the 100 proof small batch. We had a case of that, but that's gone. We got it yesterday, but we do have some 92 proof left, which is fantastic for $30. And like I said, I really like that because a lot of the new distilleries, it's a little more pricey, I feel like, their stuff, and this is not the case.
I mean, look, you can get, I say it all the time, right? I mean, just because something's expensive doesn't mean it's good. Just because something's good doesn't mean it's expensive. So, yes, you can absolutely get great whiskey for $30.
Yeah.
Anything else new, or you want to get to questions?
We also we have, I don't even know if I should talk about this on the radio, but we got one bottle of Sam Adams Utopias at Perkins Road, one single bottle, and it was there when I left a little while ago. It's a $300 beer. So
that just sounds wild to me, dude. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and you're laughing, and a whole bunch of people are going to laugh, but there's 3 or 4 people listening right now that are literally screaming over there.
Look, I'm a whiskey nerd. I get it. Like if you told me you had one bottle of Van Winkle Lot B, I'd literally leave the show right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I don't know if they can pull this up, but the bottle looks cool. It's called Sam Adams Utopia, but the bottle itself is very cool. And it's one of those beers you can open and drink off of for a while. It's aged for a really long time, and the way it's made, it's got a lot of alcohol, so it's fortified. It can stay open for a while. We have one bottle of that.
I'm trying to open it right now, so Paulie could pull it up. And of course the computer's not cooperating. Anyway, we'll get to it. So, all right, here we go. Questions for Taylor. Email us, tweet us, text us, 225-396-4400, 396-4400. Shawn McKinnon said, ask Taylor, got to try Penelope Rio, loved it. I know it's impossible to find. What's another Amburana finished bottle that I may be able to find?
So Amburana is really, really interesting, and it's fairly new, but it's becoming very popular. It produces really cinnamony, like a cinnamony flavor profile. We have a Oak and Eden barrel that was finished in Amburana barrels, and it's straight spice. The whole thing is just like eating a cinnamon red hot. So yeah, our Oak and Eden barrel is the closest thing I would think to that.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm seeing this. There it is. There's the Sam Adams. Some people have put. Well, that looks almost like a whiskey. That's not a beer bottle. That looks like a whiskey, like a Stein, huh?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's supposed to look like a mash tun, I think.
That's interesting. Okay, here we go. Tybris said, I don't know if Taylor answers beer questions. Yes, he does. But does he know anything close to BJ's Seasonal Grand Cru?
BJ's restaurant.
Like
Seasonal Grand Cru.
the brew that brew house, the restaurant, I guess?
Yes, that's what I'm assuming. I've never had beer from there, and I forgot they made beer. I would suggest an Old World Grand Cru of some sort. We've got a few of them on the shelf.
Greg Lehman asked Taylor, do you have a preferred type of rum? A white, gold, dark, black, navy?
My preferred style is aged, so I would say dark. I love Diplomatico, and a lot of people don't like it. It's just very, very sweet. I love Foursquare. Foursquare has almost got bourbon-y characteristics, and it's aged for a while, too. It's a higher-end rum, but those two cover the spectrum as far as price and flavor, actually.
30 seconds before I forget. Raffle. Deets.
December 14th, in person. We're going to start selling tickets probably the week before. We're going to release a flyer and some social media stuff by the end of this week, so stay tuned for all that stuff.
Very cool. Wine and Spirits Director over at Calandro's. Taylor Calandro with us every Wednesday here for a little Bourbon Dictionary. Thank you, dude.
All right, man. See you.
All right, man. Be well. It's after further review. Todd Graffagnini. Talk some pals. Must be Christmas. Stay here.
AFR.
Brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Y'all give them a buzz. 288-8138, 288-8138, or ReliefWindows.com. Or if you'd prefer, like in the year 2023, there are still some human beings that prefer face-to-face personal interaction. Relief Windows do that as well. They have a gorgeous, gorgeous corporate headquarters and showroom on Airline Highway in Prairieville. So if you're going south on Airline, like out of Baton Rouge into Prairieville, you're going south, you cross Highway 42, like a quarter mile on the right. You can't miss it. It's Relief Windows. No appointment necessary, but you can certainly get one. They're open 9 to 5 every single weekday right there on Airline Highway in Prairieville. It's Relief Windows. Or just give them a buzz. Have them come out. If it's energy-efficient replacement windows, maybe you're looking for hardy plank or vinyl siding, a new entry door. Maybe that could be your Christmas gift to your family this year. New windows or a new entry door. Nobody does it better than Relief Windows. Give them a buzz, 288-8138, 288-8138, or ReliefWindows.com. Windows, door, siding, ReliefWindows.com.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Scooncha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water. They can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines. Or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. All of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, they've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family of front-to-back boat service.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary. For those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded. Because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
It was a humid day. Barefoot children play. Looking for that summer shade. Time just slips away. Oh, Louisiana, some kind of hold on me. like cypress stumps. Your roots are planted deep inside of me.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. The Browns will be without quarterback Deshaun Watson the remainder of this season. He requires immediate season-ending surgery on a fracture in his throwing shoulder to avoid further structural damage. Rookie Dorian Thompson-Robinson starts on Sunday against the Steelers. ESPN NFL analyst Jeff Saturday.
You have to have a guy that you can depend on and trust on, not necessarily just for touchdowns, because they still have the best defense in the league they can lean on, but you're going to have to convert drives. You're going to have to go score at times.
Jeff Saturday on Greeny. Bengals receiver T. Higgins out with a hamstring injury, a second consecutive game against the Ravens tomorrow night. Cincinnati's a game and a half back of AFC North leading Baltimore. ESPN's Jeff Passon's reporting. Major League Baseball's competition committee is weighing a proposal that would reduce the pitch clock with runners on base from 20 to 18 seconds. Another proposal heard would cut mound visits from 5 per game to 4. Northwestern is set to promote interim football coach David Braun to head coach, reports ESPN's Pete Thamel. NBA, Giannis Antetokounmpo with a calf strain out for the Bucks tonight against the Raptors.
Are you overwhelmed by insurance? Make it easy. Get all your insurance in one place with Geico. Plus, get 24/7 claim support and on-the-go policy access with the award-winning Geico mobile app. See how easy insurance can be and go to geico.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
You so. And Mr. Toby Tumpley. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Russ Mitchell next hour. But is what do I hear? Is that Graff's music? By God!
Yeah, you're right.
The Pels gonna win. It must be Christmas. Oh, Graff, it's great to have you back on the show, man. Merry Christmas. How are you?
Oh, Merry Christmas. There's a chill in the air. You feel the holidays.
Hey, man. Last night was a lot more fun than the past couple of weeks have been. Pels start 4-1. They lose 5 straight, and they snapped that skid last night emphatically against Dallas. Let me just ask a point blank. So, I mean, they lost to Dallas 2 nights ago, and then they come back or 2 nights prior, and they come back and beat the Mavericks at home. So, what was different?
In keeping with the Christmas theme, Matt, 'twas a lot of fun last night. Yes.
Yes.
You know, it's pretty simple, actually. They just came out and played really, really hard and with a lot of energy. And I know it sounds very basic, but they did to Dallas what Dallas did to them 2 nights before. And, you could see the quotes from both teams after each game, and they're basically the same. And Dallas said exactly the same things yesterday that the Pelicans did. 2 nights ago. They just came out and played their tails off, especially on the defensive end. You know, if you want to put it in a real perspective, the Mavericks had 6 turnovers as a team on Sunday night. The Pelicans turned Luka Doncic over 6 times in the first quarter yesterday. It was just a fantastic defensive performance. It was led by Herb Jones. Everybody, followed suit. And, we were talking about it last night during the broadcast. Yeah, you're going through that losing streak and you lose 5 in a row, and a lot of it had to do with the defensive woes. Well, the best defensive player on your team was out for 3 of those 5 games. And you saw the impact that Herb had yesterday, so much so that Luka Doncic himself basically threw flowers on Herb Jones, saying how much he admired him and how much energy that he brought, and he was the real difference from the game last night than on Sunday. It was a great performance by Herb, but he had a lot of help. 17 steals as a team. That is second for the most steals in a game by any team in the NBA this year. So defense really led the offense. 30 points off turnovers, forcing 20 turnovers, a lot of easy buckets, 46 fast break points last night, Matt. That's basically a franchise record. I mean, it's right on the cusp of a franchise record. So it was a fun night to be in the SKC.
Graff is with us. The court is really ugly.
Matt, that's low-hanging fruit, man. I kind of like it. I don't know.
No, Graff. Come on, man. No. What are we doing?
I hear these takes all day long. The court.
What are we doing?
I'm going to tell you this. It looks a lot better in person than it does on television.
Graff.
Can you give me that?
No.
Okay.
It looks like a 90s cartoon villain. That's what the Pelican looks like. You know what I mean? Like I'm watching He-Man. Let's say they're like the evil Skeletor or something. What are we doing with this?
It's the skeleton, Matt. It's the skeleton.
I get it. But what are we doing? Why? Why does it have to be this thing?
It's a skeleton, man. I love it. The merch is flying off the shelves.
You know what? The fact that you love the skeleton kind of makes me love the skeleton. Is this what influencers do?
I am a tremendous influence, Matt. I love this.
You're like Jake Paul or Charlie D'Amelio. You're just a great influencer, Graff. That's what you are. You've got in 10 seconds. You've got me to like the skeleton. The skeleton. I'm kidding, Graff. This is awful. That needs to be done.
Come on.
No, it's awful. Can you please explain the play-in tournament to me?
All right. Let me give
I know we're 1-1 in Pool B. That's what I know.
Okay. We're in the Western Conference, as you well know, Group B. All right. There are 5 teams in our bracket. You're going to play 4 games against the other 4 teams. You've already played 2. Houston last Friday, that was a loss, 104-101. Last night, you saw what happened against the Mavericks. We're going to play another in-season tournament game this Friday in the Smoothie King Center against the Denver Nuggets, defending national champion, the defending NBA champion. You've been talking too much college football. And then on Black Friday, we'll be in Los Angeles to take on the struggling Clippers. So here's the deal: we're 1-1 right now. Houston is 1-0. They have not played another in-season tournament game. The gist of it is the winner of the bracket moves on to the knockout round. And then if you get the tie breaks, and this is very important, what happened last night, point differential is a tie break when it goes behind. First of all, it's head-to-head. Then it's point differential. The Pelicans winning by 21 points last night is huge because now they have the largest point differential in the group at plus 18. Awesome. And even though we lost against Houston, it was a very close loss. It wasn't a blowout. So what we really need right now is this: you need Houston to lose 2 games because they've got the head-to-head on the Pelicans. If that happens, the Pels control their own destiny in Group B.
Wow!
If you can beat Denver and beat LA, you'll be 3-1, and you should win the group. Wow! So, and then you move on to the knockout round, which is a 1 game per. They'll match that up against another bracket, and then if you win that game, you move on to Vegas in the semifinals and the finals. So, I mean, that's pretty much the gist of it. But winning last night was large. I mean, Dallas is 0-2, so they're pretty much out of it. And Denver is 2-0. But we play Denver on Friday, which gives you a head-to-head if you beat them.
Hashtag blessed.
It's actually pretty simple.
Hashtag blessed, Graf. We control our own destiny for this for the in-season tournament.
Yes,
the fake made-up thing that nobody really cares about with the Skeletor.
I get it. I'm trying to, I'm trying to figure out a way to tell my wife I'm going to Vegas, in the middle of December for a weekend.
Do you need a remote tech?
I hope we'll see if we cross that bridge, but hey, somebody's got to do it, I guess.
I can run cable with the best of them, Graf. If you need a tech,
associate producer.
You need someone to set up that Comrex, brother. I got you.
I need a spotter too.
Here, I'm in.
You want a stat guy?
I'm in. I got Eagle Vision thanks to Dr. Blake Williamson. I'm there.
Yes,
all right, Graf's here with us for a couple more minutes. Radio Voice of the Pels on Twitter at NTGraf. Y'all give him a follow. Jordan Hawkins, does he have like a forever green light? I mean, I kind of dig it. I mean, it's just like open season, bombs away. Yeah.
The answer is yes. Very simple. And he's had the open green light since day one of training camp. This is what he is here to do. He is here to bomb away. And there's been no hesitation from day one. Willie Green has stressed it to him. He has stressed it to the media. As Willie Green said, he is supposed to shoot. He is a very good shooter. It's been fun to watch, Matt, because, if you watched him in the summer league, he really struggled. And he just couldn't find it. And what's really encouraging was he never got down about it. And then he came in training camp and started shooting, and you're like, wow, something really clicked between summer league and what we've seen in camp. And even though he's had a difficult game here and there, he's never stopped. And now you're seeing it and why he was drafted where he was to this team, because he is going to add a dimension that we just, quite frankly, haven't had in the last couple of years. When you throw Trey Murphy back into the mix, who's, coming back hopefully relatively soon, and, of course, Matt Ryan, who has really come on. Matt Ryan's shooting 44% from three now.
So weird.
I know, it's crazy. Jordan Hawkins is around, 40% now, and he's got more threes in the first 10 games in the history of any rookie in the NBA. So he not only is he shooting it with percentage, he is shooting it with volume. He made 5 more threes last night. And then, you just kind of see the vision when everybody's back on the court, and getting Najee Marshall back a couple of games ago helps when you're talking about defensively, and Najee scored 15, Herb coming back. And then if you get Jose Alvarado back and Trey Murphy back, then you're talking about what you kind of envisioned before. And remember, we're still going to be without C.J. McCollum for the foreseeable future. So you see the potential. But I think Hawkins has really even exceeded these early expectations of him. And just to listen to him talk, I mean, he just nonchalant. I mean, hey, this is what I'm here to do. And he's doing it. I mean, he's got a 30-point game and a 25-point game in his first 10 games of his NBA career. So that's pretty solid.
Graf, I hear you on the potential and if you stay healthy when you get everybody, but that's been the narrative for
I agree.
3 years.
I mean, look,
I just got to see it, man. I'm just beaten down, Okay.
No, Matt, I get to see it every night.
I know, man. God bless you.
I mean, look, that's going to be the narrative until it's not the narrative. I mean, I don't think anybody who has followed this team or even has been a part of this team inside the building would disagree with what you said. It's just got to happen. It was just good to see a night like last night, because that is, the vision. That if the Pels can play like that each and every night, you're not going to win them all, but you're going to give yourself a chance every night. And you just put it on Dallas, I mean, who has really been a thorn in the last few years, especially Luka Doncic. I mean, Matt, the guy's played 19 games against us, and he's basically averaging a triple-double. He's at 30 points, 8.5 rebounds, and 8.5 assists every single night that he takes the floor against the Pelicans. He scored 16 points last night and had 5 assists. I mean, he wasn't even close. He was actually closer to a double-double with turnovers than he was with rebounds or assists. He had 8 turnovers last night. So just to do a number on him, that was pretty sweet.
All right, we're going long here, but obligatory Zion question. do with it what you will.
I just think he's still getting into the rhythm. He's not playing his best basketball, and he admitted that last night. He's just struggling, and I just think it's just being off the court for a long time. He's going to get there. But, I mean, he's not shooting the ball the way that he normally does. He's a 60% field goal shooter in his career. He's about 50% right now. He's missing a lot of shots that he normally makes. I mean, we saw last night, Matt, he had a breakaway dunk, and he lost it out of bounds. I mean, he didn't even get the shot up. So those types of things are happening to him this year. And here's the other thing that he really needs to work on is his free throw shooting. He was 72% a year ago, which is pretty good for him because he gets to the line a lot. He's gotten to the line more times than anybody on this team, and it's not even close. But he's shooting 62%. He is leaving a ton of points out there. So I just again think he's still getting into it. He had a lot of time away from basketball last year. He wasn't playing live basketball, so he'll get it together. It's just been a little bit of a struggle for him early, but when he gets it together, we all know how good of a player he can be.
Merry Christmas, Graff.
Merry Christmas.
That is Todd Graffagnini, the radio voice of the Pels. Y'all give him a follow at NT Graff. I should mention also Tulane Athletics Hall of Famer Todd Graffagnini. Congrats to Graff on that honor earlier this year.
Yeah, you're right!
It's after further review. Why is he so good? It's after further review. Quick break. This is going to feel so premature, but I got to do a segment on Saints free agent targets. Bear with me. We'll do it next. Stay here.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Glow Resources, complete employer solutions. That's right. At Glow Resources, they are not a temp staffing agency. At Glow, they work for you, the business owner. And it's not just here in Baton Rouge. Yes, their corporate headquarters here in Baton Rouge. By the way, they're moving from downtown to a gorgeous facility on Perkins Road near Pennington, right there at Quail Oak. Trust me, if you drive down Pennington, the face of, down Perkins, the face of Perkins Road is about to change when the Glow building is open for business. But it's not just Baton Rouge. It's Houston, it's Miami, New Orleans, Orlando, Ridgeland. They're all over. And no matter where your job is, Glow Resources can place the right employee in that job. For example, they have engineers right now working jobs for companies based out of Houston in Africa. It's Glow Resources, complete employer solutions. Get it right the first time. Let Glow Resources help. GlowResources.com.
At Corval Toyota in Opelousas, you can lock in the low rate of 3.99% on a Toyota Highlander. That's right, 3.99%. Lock in your low rate while you still can. At Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
The importance of doing this fortified program and offering it to people down here is, number one, the only real chance you're going to get to do this is when you put on a new roof or build new. And through companies like HUDCO, who's kind of leading the way in this thing, it's going to offer the customers a huge advantage in the insurance market and the price of their insurance.
You know, we're not looking to make a fortune off fortifying. We're trying to give you a better product than our competitor at the moment. I'm trying to do something that he can. I'm trying to give you something better. So a lot of these insurance jobs, you're getting a re-roof, you're only paying your deductible. Let's sit down and talk about the fortified and let's see what it does to your insurance premium. You're getting a steal.
Yeah.
You're getting a brand new roof and a fortified certificate for your deductible, essentially. I think we're rocking and rolling.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Scoocha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water. They can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines. Or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. All of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, they've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family of front-to-back boat service.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product is always customer satisfaction.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Pluckers Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Pluckers Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and Citizens Bank and Trust invite you to bling in the holidays. Register today at 1045ESPN.com to win a $10,000 custom piece of jewelry handcrafted by Stuart Selassie himself. Bling in the holidays with Citizens Bank and Trust, Selassie Jewelry, and 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Man, I really hesitate to do this in November. I'm serious. I really do. When you're here at November the 15th, what teams, ask you a question, not rhetorical. If you're in your car, say it out loud, or Muse or Paulie answer it. If it's November the 15th and you're talking about the draft or about free agency targets, what teams are typically doing that?
Teams that aren't very good?
Yes, teams that stink. Teams whose season is over. You know who's talking about the draft and free agency right now? The Cardinals.
The Giants.
The Bears. Yes, those are the teams that right now are like, we can draft a quarterback. Who's it? Who are we going to spend our money? That's who's doing it. The Saints are weird because the Saints are bad, but they're also in first place. You're a bad first place team, right? That's why this is weird. Because, yes, if you're the New Orleans Saints, you are in first place, and you are very much in a division race. You lead your division by half a game going into your bye here in Week 10. I mean, you're past the halfway point, and you're leading your division, so there's so much relevant conversation to this year. But we all know this team stinks. The defense just can't figure it out from half to half. The offense can't figure it out from week to week. Sneaky Pete stinks. Derek Carr's mediocre. Taysom Hill 1 week is so elite that his uniform goes to the Hall of Fame, and the next week it's like, why did he even dress? 1 carry, 2 receptions. Like, what are we doing? They stink. So, whatever. Yes, you're playing to win the division, but you also stink. And if you win the division, you're not going anywhere. So you have to kind of look ahead as well. So, like ESPN's analyst today, it was Matt Bowen and Jeremy Fowler. They put out this sort of early NFL free agent ranking, so players that are going into free agency this year. And so I looked at it from the prism of, okay, well, if you're the Saints going into this offseason, we know the Saints typically have one big-ticket free agent item. Usually. They'll spend big on one player. This year was Derek Carr. Like, they'll usually spend big on one player right when free agency starts, and then it's, okay, then you wait for the discount rack. You wait for that big wave of free agency to go, and then you're looking for bargain buys. That's just what the Saints have always done under Mickey Loomis. So if I'm looking at the Saints right now and going, okay, what are the positions that we know are going to be targets this offseason? Well, pretty obvious that offensive line is going to be one, right? When you look at the line, you've got Ramczyk under contract. You've got Eric McCoy under contract. You just re-signed Cesar Ruiz to a 4-year, $44 million deal. So really, Center, right guard, right tackle is done, but the left side of your line is a problem. Andrus Peat is most likely, look, Andrus Peat would have been gone this season, but he agreed to a pay cut, and so they kept him. He's likely gone after this year. Hurst is still there. What's his future? Don't know. Really a rotational piece who's starting out of necessity and when he's healthy. And then you've got Trevor Penning, who you invested a first-round pick in, but he looks like a bust. And he's not going to be a left tackle in the NFL. Can you salvage something and play him at left guard? Maybe. Maybe it's what you did with Andrus Peat. But you still need help then at left tackle. The point is you need help at both spots on the left side of the line. And you could use another first-round pick on an offensive lineman. You could do that. Or you get a player in free agency. And so offensive line is one that I looked at. Safety, I think, is very clearly another spot that if you're the Saints, you have to look at. Because you got two aging safeties there that just aren't playing great. And if you look at them contractually, Marcus May you have an off-ramp on Marcus May's contract after this season. So Marcus May is going to be 30 years old by the time next year starts. It's not to say that he's an old player, but you signed him from the Jets, and he just hasn't been a good player. He missed part of last year due to injury. He's had a suspension, and when he's been on the field, he just hasn't been effective. I could say the same for Tyrann Mathieu, as much as we hate to say that. Tyrann is someone that everybody loves. I mean, he's the honey badger. It was rightly celebrated when the Saints brought him home. But Tyrann's 31 years old, and his level of play is dropped, and you're not good at safety. You missed by letting Marcus Williams get away. You tried to haggle. You'd set your limit of what you'd pay, and you let him get away for pennies, essentially. So you've got to look at safety. I don't care if you believe Jordan Howden can be a future starter or will be a future starter. You got to look at both of your safeties. When you look at them contractually, you have an out for both Marcus May and Tyrann Mathieu after this season, and you're probably going to take it. So safety is a spot that you got to address, draft or free agency. And then the other is linebacker. And it may not be this year, it may be next year, but you're going to have a decision to make at linebacker. Demario Davis is going to be 35 years old in 2 months, and he's still your leading tackler, and he's still the man of God, and he's still playing at an extremely elite level, and I love him. Outside of Drew Brees, this is, the best free agent, defensive free agent signing that you had in this era. I mean, I could argue that Demario Davis, outside of Drew Brees, is the best free agent signing the Saints have ever had in any era. He's still playing at an all-pro caliber level as he approaches 35 years old here in a couple of months. I mean, the guy earlier this year was essentially playing on one knee with a knee injury, still out there leading your team in tackles. It's really just a question of, it's not if Demario Davis can still play, it's how much longer does he want to play? He's under contract through next year. So he's got at least another year. So again, this may be a year premature. It's why I put linebacker third. It's not that I'm ready to move on from Demario Davis. He's still awesome. It's just how much does he want to continue playing? That's one. And then Pete Werner is going to be an unrestricted free agent after 24. So typically you don't let a player like that get to unrestricted free agency if you want to re-sign them, which I assume they will with Pete Werner. So you probably go into this offseason looking to extend Pete Werner. Again, linebacker, the reason I have it third on this list is that linebacker may be the position you look at next offseason, after the 24 season, not right now. But offensive line and safety really are the spots that you have to address. So, when you look at this ESPN piece of the highest graded out or ranked players in the free agent class, it's a lot of defensive linemen. Brian Burns from Carolina, they have number 1 overall. Chris Jones from Kansas City, number 2. I mean, you've invested so much draft capital on your defensive line, it's hard to imagine going there. Kirk Cousins, 3. Christian Wilkins with Miami, number 4. A lot of defensive linemen. Daniil Hunter, number 5. You get in the point, like it's a lot of players on the defensive front. T. Higgins, they rated 6. Hard to imagine the Saints spending big for a receiver. L'Jarius Sneed, you don't need cornerback help. Chase Young, defensive line. They're at number 8. Josh Allen, edge, defensive line, number 9. Robert Hunt would be the first one that I think you'd take a real look at. Robert Hunt's the offensive guard with the Miami Dolphins. Entering next year, he'll be 28 years old, but he's an interior player. So do you want to invest the money in free agency on an interior player? We've seen the Saints do it before. They did it with Larry Warford when they signed him out of Detroit. And Larry Warford was a declining player at that time. And ultimately, they decided to move on from him whenever they drafted Cesar Ruiz. Listen, we don't need to have a conversation about whether they hit or not with Cesar Ruiz. He's been a starting player. He's been available. He's not been great. I understand they just extended him, but nonetheless. They spent on Larry Warford, which we haven't seen them do a bunch. And Antoine Winfield they rank as the 11th best player. And that's a guy that's still a young player. He'll be 26 years old entering next year. He's been in your division there with Tampa Bay. And yeah, this is a top 10 safety in the league. This presumably solves a lot of your issues there at safety. If you have an Antoine Winfield and a Jordan Howden, if you feel like he's able to be a starting caliber player. But you look at the rest of this list: Justin Madubuike, defensive lineman; Mike Evans, wide receiver. Jonah Williams is interesting because that's an offensive tackle. You're there with the Cincinnati Bengals. Do the Bengals re-sign him? Does he stay there? Does he hit the open market? Are you even willing to spend on a player like Jonah Williams? And still, he's a right tackle, so I don't know that the Saints are even interested there because you got Ryan Ramczyk. Saquon, Kendall Fuller, Jonah Jackson, who's an offensive guard with the Detroit Lions. Maybe that's a player you could look at if you're looking for an interior player. I guess the best way I could say it is the hope, the sincere hope, the best case scenario for New Orleans is the light comes on for Trevor Penning, and he could be a left tackle. I don't know that I believe that. I was very hopeful when they drafted him. It sucked that he was injured and missed a bunch of last year. Started this season at left tackle, and you thought maybe after the first week when Arden Key abused him, he had started to improve, but really the run grade even got worse. That's the thing he's supposed to be good at. And right now you got a healthy former first-round pick who's like the reporting is eligible offensive lineman. So that would be a pretty meteoric rise year to year if the light switch comes on for Trevor Penning, but that's a best-case scenario for New Orleans, and then maybe you can go sign one of these offensive guards out of free agency. Other than that, you're probably back in the market in round 1 drafting an offensive lineman again, which I don't think anybody has the stomach or appetite to see because you've invested so much draft capital on both lines of scrimmage, and you've just missed. You've missed on a number of players that have cost you. But it may be where the Saints are back again. One linebacker to look at, if the Saints do look at linebacker, and I'm not saying they will, but the highest rated linebacker on this list in free agency for this year is Devin White. So I don't know. Look, if Demario Davis and Pete Werner are both back, I'm thrilled. If Demario Davis retires or the Saints decide they're not going to pay Pete Werner and you go sign Devin White at 26 years old, awesome. You basically replace Demario Davis with the next version of Demario Davis, who's your starting inside backer for the next 6-7 years. So, again, it's middle of November. Maybe the only reason I was truly inspired to talk about this today was because it is the Saints bye week, and so we're not previewing a game this weekend. And the Saints are in a division race, and I get it. They're leading their division. But this is also a bad football team that's going to have some serious questions in the offseason. And just because you win a bad division doesn't mean that shouldn't mask all of the insufficiencies that you have. And this team has many of them. And they're going to need to be spenders in free agency to pat some pretty significant holes on this team if they're going to be contenders again soon. Okay, it's after further review. Thank you for tolerating that briefly. I know it's so weird to be in November having a draft conversation when you're talking about the league year not starting for four months. But anyway, we'll get there in time. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll come back. We'll do some Pluckers Trivia. We'll get to Tigers and the Pros, Russ Mitchell in about 45 minutes from right now. Glad you're here. Stick around.
AFR.
Okay, they have switched gears over at Clegg's Nursery, y'all, and it is Christmas time. I understand Thanksgiving is next Thursday, so not everyone is in full-on Christmas mode, and I get it, and that's fine. But keep in mind that there is an eventuality here. When people start to gear up for Christmas, Christmas decor gets harder and harder to find. Right now, the shelves are stocked, and it is a great time to get by Clegg's Nursery. If you want any of your Christmas decor, get by any of the 4 Clegg's Nursery locations. Seagoneer Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. They've got your Christmas decor. Next week is the Poinsettia Open House we'll tell you more about. That is an amazing event every year where it's just the rows and rows and rows of gorgeous poinsettias to go decorate for the holiday season. They'll have it at Clegg's Nursery. We'll tell you more about it next week. It's Clegg's Nursery. 4 locations. Buy local, shop local. Tell them Matt sent you in to Clegg's Nursery.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
His name was Cain. He had a horse along the
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Pluckers Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Pluckers Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
So tomorrow, by the way, is the last day to enter to win the Matchler. Do we have our Matchler music handy? No? Oh, Muse. I mean, what kind of?
No, that's an easy fix. Then.
What foot are you putting forward here for the young ladies vying for your heart when you don't even have their music ready?
Their music?
Yeah, their music.
Okay, their music.
Listen, Muse, it's all about them. This is not about you.
Oh.
I mean, it's never going to be about you again, friend, here. But tomorrow's the last day to enter the Matchler. Do I sound like Scotty?
No, I mean, no, man. But it's hard to sound like Scotty Mack.
It is.
I mean, he's...
Can we do a side-by-side? The Matchler.
Yeah, I'd have to pull the
You
spot.
forget. Look, I was a DJ on a B103 back in the continuous all favorites of today and yesterday. The all-new B103. That was Celine Dion with The Heart Will Go On.
Oh, yeah, there it is. That
See?
one. Yeah.
See, don't tell me I don't have that in me. I'm not Scotty. I'm not Scotty Mack. I'm not.
Nobody is.
Who is?
Let's say,
Who is?
nobody is.
Am I 65% of Scotty Mack?
The tone is there.
See?
Like the tone is there, but I don't know, the inflection, all that, man. You just,
The man has a lifetime of experience.
Dude,
He's
golden pipes, too.
So the Aqua concert is coming up Sunday the 26th.
10 days away almost.
A week from Sunday.
Yeah.
VIP table at the Fillmore. Shout out to Live Nation and the Fillmore for making that happen. Muso and the lucky winner. VIP table. A shout out to 7-3 Distilling. They're providing your chariot awaits.
Chariot, yeah.
They're gonna the Sprinter van, decked out Sprinter van, taking y'all down so you can have some libations, not worry about driving. Still gonna figure out dinner plans. But a lot of that's gonna be timing.
Need to fit. Yeah, that one needs to.
Muse's attire is going to be courtesy of Haspel.
Dude, it's good too.
You picked it out?
Oh,
did you?
Oh, we went
you
and
went?
did it. Oh man.
When did you go? You didn't tell me this. You gotta tell me.
When did I go?
Oh.
Last Friday. That's why I didn't tell you, because we got sidetracked in here with Terrio and Russ. But dude, man, Mr. Will Swilly over there hooked me up.
How about Will?
No, it was good.
Shout out Will Swilly. Haspel.
I like to think I clean up well, but that has changed now. Haspel improved that.
Haspel.com. So Haspel's got the attire from Muse. Our buddy Burke Harriman at the original Harriman's Florist right there on Government. There's one on Starring as well. Are taking care of the flowers for the lucky winner. So we do have one male entrant. It's Greg Lehman. He entered. Are you going to pick Greg?
Man. Dang, I didn't have one.
You had nothing ready.
No, man, I had
All right.
nothing ready.
Man.
I was going to try to... No.
Man, this promo is getting old. Am I right?
Am I right?
Anyway, all right. So the Matchler, we're picking the win. Tomorrow's the last day to enter. If you're a single gal, or if you're someone who knows a single lady who might want to go on a date with Muso, the Matchler. It's happening. We'll announce the winner on Friday on AFR. Tomorrow's the last day to enter to win a date with Muso. We got a lot of entrants. Surprise, Muse. People want to go on a date with you.
You just told me how many, and I was surprised too.
Yeah.
So, but,
or maybe they just want to go to the Aqua concert.
Maybe they just like Europop.
Maybe. Okay. Fired up for it. Okay, Russ Mitchell's here in 30 minutes from right now. I have to stop talking like that because now I'm like inspired to do the whole rest of the show like that. Brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020, 924-2020, or williamsoneye.com. Great event on Monday with Dr. Blake, and Jimmy Ott was there as well. Say it all the time, no matter your age or your refractive issue, if you want to see 2020 without contacts or glasses, it can happen with the Williamson Eye Center. There is a refractive option for everybody. Maybe you've been told in the past you're not a candidate for LASIK or something. No matter what your refractive issue, they can help. 924-2020, 924-2020, or williamsoneye.com for the Williamson Eye Center. All right, let's do some Pluckers Trivia. We got to go quickly. This segment's all about Muse. From the Matchler to Muse's Trivia. Hit me, Muse. From the Matchler to Muse's...
It's time for Pluckers Trivia. How many will Muso get wrong today? Pluckers Trivia. Every Wednesday night, 7:30 at Bluebonnet, 8 o'clock at Nicholson.
That was a little aggressive. Wasn't expecting it.
Like it's a pack a punch there.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. Well, normally we fade the music in underneath. You know what I mean?
Oh, we got open now.
We got the open now. All right, let's kill it. Let's try it again.
All right, hold on.
Kill it. All right, here we go. Ready?
Wait.
Well, we go straight from the Matchler. It's all about Muse today. We got Matchler. Well, let's do some Pluckers Trivia. Hit it, Muse.
It's time for Pluckers Trivia. How many will Musso get wrong today? Pluckers Trivia. Every Wednesday night, 7:30 at Bluebonnet, 8 o'clock at Nicholson.
All right, Muse. What year? Turn it down a little bit. It's a little too aggressive.
No
All right.
theme?
No.
Okay.
What year was the first iteration of the Amazon Kindle released?
Oh, man, that's a good question. I'm going to say 2009.
No. Why was that so low?
I just realized I have them on the same thing. We'll fix that for next week.
Paulie, can you just do a wrong sound or a buzzer? Can you just make a wrong sounder? Love it. I love that Paulie's bought in. That was 2007 was the answer, by the way.
See, I was close.
I'm used in the 2000s. Who won the most NASCAR Cup Series championships?
Oh, God. I feel like I should actually know that. Stewart? No, not Stewart. Not Johnson. Jimmy Johnson?
It is Jimmy Johnson. I don't feel like we should count it, though, because you shouted Stewart. Who is Stewart, by the way?
See, that's the thing. I didn't think of the first name, so I said Stewart. But that would actually be Tony Stewart, but it's not him, yeah.
No,
it was Jimmy Johnson.
It's not him. No. I thought maybe you'd have gone Jeff Gordon.
No,
if you were
no,
going to
no.
go anyone other than Jimmy Johnson.
In the black SS with the navigation.
Jimmy Johnson won like 6 in a row. Dynamite Nelly reference. All right, Muse,
You're
here we
welcome.
go. Last one. Which video game console released first in North America? Nintendo Wii or PlayStation 3?
That's the Nintendo Wii.
That is not.
Oh, okay.
Correct. It is the PlayStation 3. It beat the Wii by 2 days.
I was about to say, man, it had to be close.
How about that? Beat the Wii by 2
because
days.
PlayStation 2 was like 02.
If you stink at trivia like Muse, get on by Pluckers and see if you can win Pluckers gift cards every Wednesday, 7:30 at Bluebonnet, 8 o'clock at Nicholson. We got an open and everything now, but yet you still managed to screw it up by having the wrong horn and the buzzer on the wrong pot. So
Well, really, it was putting the open on the wrong. It was putting the open on the wrong side
either way,
there.
You screwed it up.
Yeah, that was
screwed
that.
it up. Hey, ladies, if you're entering the Bachelor, just be prepared to be disappointed. That's all I got to say.
Wow.
I'm sorry, Muse. That
was harsh. That was mean. I'm not gonna lie.
Muse. I didn't mean that. Okay. All right. It's after. We're looking forward to having our camera crew following you all throughout your entire night,
Don't say
documenting
that.
the whole thing.
You're gonna scare people.
Well,
That's not actually happening.
Already committed. All right. It's after further review. We'll do Tigers and the Pros next.
AFR.
Hey, Friday, y'all. We're gonna be at Rouse's for Tackle Hunger. Fill the food bank. Excited about this. Look, I know Russ talks about this every year when he's with us, and it's so appropriate. Thanksgiving is a week from Thursday, a week from tomorrow. So Friday, Rouse's is doing an awesome thing throughout the month and leading up all throughout the holidays, where they're going to all their different locations, and they're partnered with the New Orleans Saints, and they're doing a promo called Tackle Hunger, Fill the Food Bank. So this Friday at the Arlington Creek Center Boulevard location. That's the Burbank and Lee location. Our full lineup will be there of 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge shows. So minus Live at Lunch. Off the Bench, Hunt Palmer, AFR will all be at Rouse's on Burbank. We're inviting you to come on out. Saints Cheer Crew, Mascot, Randall Gay will all be there in the morning with the OTB crews. Michelle Southern from Eagle 98.1 will be there in the afternoon. Come help us support the food bank at Rouse's, Burbank and Lee on Friday.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $20,000 off MSRP on new 23 Ram 1500 trucks. $20,000 off plus no payments for 90 days on new 23 Ram 1500 trucks. All with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Life in Louisiana is like a run-on sentence. A poem that doesn't rhyme. Life is here, now. For life's moments, big and small, always there. The right card, the right care.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luber for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Pluckers Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Pluckers Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Wrapping up hour number 2, Musso as Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge gets engaged.
All right, continuing with the NBA in-season tournament talk. Naz Reid last night. Don't think he was involved in that melee between the Timberwolves and the Warriors, but he should have stayed, as Matt said. He had 16 minutes last night, 10 points in the ballgame. Only missed a bucket, and it was a three-pointer. Then added 2 rebounds, and the Timberwolves got the victory over the Dubs.
Hey, Minnesota's jerseys in that picture Paulie has up looks like the Pelicans play-in, not the play-in, the
in-season. The in-season.
I was waiting for the hyphenated thing. The in-season.
The skeleton. This one, the skeleton.
Skeleton. Oh my!
That's funny.
God.
The skeleton.
That's pretty good.
I mean, come on.
Did he make that up?
I don't know, but as someone who loves puns, I mean, skeleton is a really good pun.
I do love puns.
It's a really good pun. Skylar Mays into the starting lineup for the Portland Trailblazers last night. Of course, yesterday we told you about his new exclusive contract with him just in the NBA. They killed the whole two-way thing. 6 points, 10 assists for Skylar Mays. That is a double-digit assists now in 2 games in the last week for Skylar Mays. Also added 5 rebounds, so stuffed the stat sheet pretty good. Duop Reith into the game last night for the Trailblazers as well, man. Yeah, how about that? 10 minutes. Didn't stuff the stat sheet too much, only a rebound, but was out there for 10 minutes.
Oh, boy.
NBA G League action from today. Had some matinee stuff going on there. Yeah, the Oklahoma City Blue, where you find KJ Williams. Another double-figure scoring night for KJ, near double-double. 11 points, 8 rebounds. What?
Boy?
Yeah, oi. In 25 minutes of action, 8 of 13 from the floor, really good. And another double-figure scoring day for Javonte Smart as well with the Delaware Bluecoats. Coming off a double-double a couple nights ago, 22 points here for Javonte in 30 minutes. Shot 40% from 3, which is very good. 3 rebounds and 2 assists. So doing well in the NBA, doing well in the G League. That's Tigers in the Pros.
Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, LMFJ.com, LMFJ.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Gentlemen, thrill her with a gift in the red box this Christmas. And if you are thinking about popping the question, there's nobody better. Nobody has a better selection of the highest quality diamonds at the best price than Lee Michaels. It's why they've been in business for 40 years, helping all of Louisiana get engaged. Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Shreveport, Lafayette, and online, lmfj.com, lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. All right, it's after further review. I'll put a button here in hour number 2. We're glad you're hanging out with us here. We will have Russ Mitchell joining us in about 20 minutes from right now. I'm sure we'll recap Russ's trip in Baton Rouge. We last saw Russ here in studio with us on Friday when he was drinking all of the Bud Lights in studio. I mean, I think during the show he probably had 4.
Drinking all the Bud Lights and taking all of the hats off the set.
Yes, that's true. I took the Hudco hat, the John Deere hat. He did send me a picture from the airport wearing the John Deere hat. He said, send this to Rooney. So I did send it to Rooney, which is why Rooney then sent me that new John Deere hat and several others because Terrio wanted one as well. So, yes, they did replace a lot of them. We'll talk Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly met with the media earlier today. Something else that's kind of percolating a lot right now is a lot of talk about Jayden Daniels and the draft. Can you play no, I don't have time for this, do I? Okay, let's do this after the top of the hour because I'm going to run out of time. So, Dane Brugler, who's the draft analyst for The Athletic, talked about Jayden Daniels. Also, Jordan Reed from ESPN talked about Jayden Daniels rising up draft boards. And it's relevant because now 2 quarterbacks who are presumed to be ahead of Jayden on draft boards are now reportedly staying in school. What a month for Jayden Daniels it has been, and it might keep getting better. All right, we'll get to that coming up right after the top of the hour. Here comes SportsCenter. We'll get you caught up on national headlines, and then an hour 3 we'll kick it off next. Stay here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Hey, I want to remind you about South Point Volkswagen. It'll take 60 seconds right here. They're on Airline Highway, just north of Highland. Online at southpointvw.com. Remember, if you are in Lafayette, Southwest Volkswagen, shout out to our friends on ESPN 103.7 in Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, Delta Media, awesome partners of ours. We appreciate you. So if you're there in the 337, Southwest Volkswagen can serve you. But remember, Sign Then Drive is going on right now. That's the thing you got to remember. 0 down, 0 due at signing, 0 first month's payment. It's pretty incredible. Like, you just sign your name, and with little else, you're driving away in a brand new vehicle from South Point Volkswagen when Sign Then Drive is going on. So if you're in the market for a vehicle and you've never thought about a Volkswagen, I encourage you all the time, just put Volkswagen on your list. You'll see why people become so brand loyal to the great German engineering without the cost, manufactured right here in the USA. It's South Point Volkswagen. SouthPointVW.com.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
The world's leaders in obesity research, obesity medicine, and obesity science are right here.
We're doing something that no one's ever done or trying to answer a question that no one's ever asked before.
Pennington is a real jewel when it comes to research.
We are finding the solutions to the world's worst chronic disease, which is obesity. Louisiana needs Pennington Biomedical.
Relentless reporting gets results.
I'm never going to stop until we get the answers you need.
Uncovering more as the powerful try to cover things up.
What happens in the dark will always come to light.
Founding new principles and practices for the state of Louisiana.
Chief Investigative Reporter Chris Nakamoto.
Chris Nakamoto and the Investigative Unit. Recipients of Columbia University's prestigious DuPont Award.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Scooch, fall in the air, fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water, they can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines, or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. All of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, they've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family of front-to-back boat service.
Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product is always customer satisfaction. Visit us online at reliefwindows.com.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. The season's over for Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson. He'll undergo immediate surgery to repair a fracture in his throwing shoulder to avoid further structural damage. Expected to be back for the start of next season. Browns opting to start rookie Dorian Thompson-Robinson over P.J. Walker on Sunday against the Steelers. Freddie and Harry co-host Harry Douglas.
His upside in being able to be a threat and pose a threat to the opposing team defense is higher than P.J. Walker. I think we already know the ceiling of P.J. Walker. Yeah. We don't know the ceiling of Dorian Thompson-Robinson and some of the things that he's able to do from the arm strength and creativity.
Bengals receiver T. Higgins out of tomorrow night's big showdown against the Ravens with a hamstring injury. Bears plan to start quarterback Justin Fields at Detroit Sunday. He's been out the last 4 games with a dislocated thumb. ESPN's Jeff Passan reports Major League Baseball's competition committee is weighing a proposal that would reduce the pitch clock with runners on base from 20 to 18 seconds. Another proposal heard would cut mound visits from 5 per game to 4. Northwestern set to promote interim football coach David Braun to head coach, reports ESPN's Pete Thamel.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your motorcycle, RV, boat, ATV, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at Progressive.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, man!
Hey, shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Yusuf. And Mr. Toby Tumpley. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. And oh, by the way, it's hump day.
It's hump day.
Let's hump, everybody.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Russ Mitchell in 15 minutes.
Hump day.
Malik Nabers for Biletnikoff.
It's hump day.
You might get screwed out of it, though.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
We had Georgia State head coach Shawn Elliott here in hour 1.
Hump day.
We had Graff last hour.
It's hump day.
Yeah, you're right.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Russ Mitchell in 12 minutes.
Hump day.
The final day to register for The Bachelor.
It's hump day.
Russ Mitchell Differential in 12 minutes.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
All right, let's get going here. We got a lot to do. I want to get to Russ. Talk about Russ's trip to Baton Rouge. Got to get his thoughts on Jimbo and Zach Arnett being fired. Only 3 conference games this weekend in the SEC. A dreadful slate. But we'll get to that. And as we mentioned before, Russ is a Heisman voter, so we'll ask him his thoughts on Jayden Daniels and where he would have him right now and all the Heisman stuff. Speaking of which, so Brian Kelly was on the SEC coaches teleconference earlier today and was asked about Jayden Daniels point blank and his Heisman candidacy, if that would impact how LSU uses him, meaning, of course, you need him to stat compile, but you're playing an overmatched opponent, so do you maybe pull back the reins? Here's what he said.
What we do is try to play the kind of football that has been the hallmark of this offense. And so you want to feel as though that you're playing to that standard. And then you evaluate it from quarter to quarter. So it's really immaterial about the opposition. We'll judge this based upon our standard of play and go from there.
For whatever it's worth, we saw Jayden Daniels against Army, and he was 11 of 15 for 279 and 3 touchdowns. He only ran the ball 5 times. There were 6 yards in that game. So the rushing stats weren't there, but the passing numbers were gaudy. LSU won the game 62-0. Might remind you that Jayden Daniels threw for 279 and 3 touchdowns in the first half. So this is a Georgia State squad that has really struggled defensively over the last 3 weeks. And the opportunity for LSU to go stat compile in the first half is going to be there. Georgia State, the last 3 games have allowed 44, 42, 42. So, and that was to Georgia Southern, James Madison, and App State. No disrespect to any of those squads. I know James Madison's undefeated right now, but this is Jayden Daniels and the number 1 offense in the country in Tiger Stadium, and LSU, if they go play clean football in the first half, will be able to do whatever they want moving up and down the field. My kind of hope is that the defense stinks, and so you have to play Jayden maybe through 3 quarters, and he can maybe stack compile even further. But the bigger question surrounding Jayden is not about what's going to happen this week against Georgia Southern. It's, of course, the Heisman Trophy, but then also the draft. And if you haven't been paying attention, there was some interesting news last week and earlier this week about the draft. There's a general consensus that Caleb Williams, Drake May are 1, 2 in whatever order. But then after that, it's a very deep draft class that includes Jayden Daniels, but also Michael Penix and Bo Nix and Michael Pratt from Tulane. There's a long list of quarterbacks in this year's draft class that are very appealing. And 2 of them might not be in this draft class. Last week, Deion Sanders was a guest on the Dan Patrick Show. We played this for you, but just as a reminder, Dan asked Deion about Shedeur. Here's what Deion offered in this interview.
If it's a package deal with you and Shedeur.
Don't forget Shiloh, by the way. Don't forget Shiloh.
Eventually he's coming.
No, yeah, they're going to come out the same year, next year.
Okay.
They better not try to leave Daddy this year.
So Deion just said they're going to leave the same year next year. They better not try to leave Daddy. So Deion essentially said last week that Shedeur is going back to Colorado. So if Shedeur's not in the draft, I mean, that's a guy who had seen his stock elevate dramatically to where some had him as the 3rd or 4th best quarterback in this draft class. Quinn Ewers at Texas is another one. And I'm not sure if you saw this report, but Bobby Burton over at Inside Texas had this report earlier this year. Quote, the decision may already have been made, but it's the decision may have already been made, but it's at least 90% right now that Quinn Ewers is expected to return to Texas next season. So, point being, if you were looking at draft boards and draft eligible quarterbacks, Caleb Williams, Drake May, and then some combination of Quinn Ewers, Shedeur Sanders, Michael Penix, Bo Nix, and then somewhere down the line is where you saw Jayden Daniels. Well, you're seeing Daniels' stock elevate, and maybe 2 guys that were presumed ahead of him take their names out of the draft. It's not official yet. We'll see. But this is really interesting to watch. Jordan Reed, who's one of the ESPN draft analysts, was ranking his top 14 draft quarterback prospects, and he had Jayden Daniels number 6. But let's talk about Jayden Daniels rising that draft board.
What we
His draft projection.
No, stop that. Stop. Here, on my screen. Here, take this.
If you would have told me that this was the same guy that we saw at Arizona State, I would have laughed at you. Like, he's improved so much. And the big worry about Daniels even coming into the season was that he just leaves the pocket prematurely. He didn't have any pocket patience, and then the accuracy was all over the place. And then you combine that with the slender frame as well. And he's a little bit chaotic as a runner too. Like, he just takes some massive hits. So he needs to learn to protect himself. But Malik Nabers and Brian Thomas Jr., two players that are also surging up boards as well, he just created so much chemistry with him. Like, the deep accuracy is outstanding. He has so much more pocket patience. His progressions are really good. They're clean. But he's so dangerous as a runner. We saw it last week against Florida, of where, like, he looked like Lamar Jackson out there. Like, he was just slicing them. He was slicing them. And it was so amazing to watch him play, just because he was so in sync and he's in rhythm. So with him and J.J. McCarthy, I think that quarterback 3 spot is going to be really interesting. Like, I think he could get that high. And there's a lot of people that really like Jayden Daniels. And similar to Bo Nix, you kind of have to wash your hands and your memory as far as what they were from their last stop. With Bo Nix being at Auburn, and then now Jayden going away from Arizona State at LSU. Like, these are completely different players. They're completely different, and the transfer portal has really helped them.
It's stunning to hear, for me anyway, someone even presume that J.J. McCarthy could be ranked ahead of Jayden Daniels. Like, in what reality would a human being look at Jayden Daniels and J.J. McCarthy and go, give me the kid from Michigan who they ran the ball on 32 consecutive plays and didn't even ask him to throw a pass in the second half? Like, that there's no reality where that makes sense to me. But what do I know about the draft? And it's not just Jordan Reed who's basically saying, look, I mean, there are some people who may have Jayden Daniels number 3 on their quarterback board. Dane Brugler, who's a draft analyst for The Athletic, talked about Daniels' rising draft projection.
His draft projection feels a lot like Deshaun Watson's was coming out of Clemson. Remember, we weren't talking about him as Deshaun Watson as a slam dunk first-round pick. And I say we, I mean the collective we. NFL teams, all of us on the outside, everyone in the league. Collectively, we were talking about him as, a top 50 guy, but maybe an early 2, maybe he gets in the first round. Like, weren't really sure exactly where Deshaun Watson was going to go, even though he had this tremendous resume. And then, lo and behold, he ends up going 12 overall. And so that feels kind of the same way with Jayden Daniels.
Quarterbacks are valued so much, and we see it at the top of every draft. Last year, you saw Bryce Young go 1 and C.J. Stroud go number 2. Anthony Richardson went number 4. I mean, you're going to see quarterback-needy teams pull the trigger. The really interesting thing about last year, though, is that after those first 3 guys, there wasn't another in round 1. Could a team see value mid-late round 1, a quarterback-needy team mid-late round 1, in a guy like Jayden Daniels? Perhaps. And there's going to be a lot of quarterback-needy teams in this year's draft. And Jayden Daniels surging up boards may find himself as high as number 3. Okay, plenty of time to get to that, though. Let's knock out a break. When we come back, we'll talk to Russ Mitchell as we do every week. Russ was here in studio with us on Friday. We will get to our regular business with Russ as we recap the weekend that was and preview the weekend ahead. Of course, as we mentioned, Russ is a Heisman voter. So after seeing Jayden Daniels' historic day, what does that mean for Jayden as he continues to surge toward New York City? All right, it's after further review. Stay here.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Y'all, every year, one of the great promotions that Gordon does, and we talk about Gordon Gives, right, the charitable arm of Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Every year, one of the great promotions that Gordon does is the bike giveaway. And it is such an incredible thing that Gordon and his team do. They're giving away 488 bikes to young children this holiday season. And that's all across the state, by the way. And that's, of course, inspired by Gordon's fondest childhood memories. You've heard him tell the story before, receiving a shiny red bike on Christmas morning. So he wants to pay that joy and recreate that joy forward for a lot of young people. So here's what you do. You go to GordonGives.com. You got to follow Gordon on social media at GetGordon and go to GordonGives.com. Again, GordonGives.com. Go to GordonGives.com and you'll see the form to enter. GordonGives.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Pluckers Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Pluckers Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Hey, Muse, play Russ's Open.
Russ Mitchell.
What are you
Kicking
doing?
the tires and lighting the fires.
Russ!
Literally.
Well, I'm proud of Russ. I think Russ deserves it.
Rusty, come on up here. Absolutely, I thought that was going to happen because it's state. It's supposed to happen.
You know, I haven't had much of a chance to talk to you man to man, Russ.
How are things out there at DBU?
I want you to stay here and take care of things, Russ.
The only way you can point up is up.
Not going in our yard, Russ. It's going in our living room.
It's like Troy.
Can't see the line, can you, Russ?
Put your foot on his throat and choke him out.
Take it, Russ. All right, Russ Mitchell joins us. Was in studio on Friday, now via the wonderment of Zoom. How are you?
Doing better than Moose.
Well,
Come on, Moose.
Like we haven't been doing this for a decade. Like, get Russ's Open. What are you saying? He's sitting right there. What are you doing?
What are you doing? Kicking the tires, lighting the fires, baby. You like my hat?
I love it. The John Deere hat that you stole off of my set here. You didn't steal it. I gave it to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was a gift. It was absolutely, it was absolutely given. But it looks great, man. It looks really good there.
I have some people to thank quickly.
Okay.
If I may.
Please.
For the great trip. You know, I wanted to thank Robert Young, who invited me to his tailgate. Okay. If anybody knows Robert, he makes the world's best venison jalapeno poppers.
Okay.
If you know Robert, start a GoFundMe or something and get that guy a restaurant, man, because someone's got to do something with those poppers.
Okay.
And Cross inside the stadium for helping me buy my shirt. I was freezing cold. He was a gentleman. Thank you, Cross. And lastly, I just want to say, I hope everybody at LSU realizes how lucky they are to have people like Eddie Kennison working with the university, and what a great ambassador for the school. In addition to what a spectacular athlete he was, what a lovely person, and has time for everybody, and just a great ambassador for the school and the state. So thank you, Eddie, for all your time on Saturday, and thank you everybody for making my wife's first trip to Baton Rouge, first trip to Tiger Stadium so special.
Well, it was awesome, man. It was great having you in studio. It was great to see you, and we appreciate you hanging out with us on Whiskey and Wine. And you and T-Bob were
that was fun.
We're a handful. I had two giant uncontrollable humans flanking me on either side, but it was worth it.
I noticed a lot of elbows flying. So I'm just pleased you made it through the day, through the evening with your nose still attached to your face.
I did. What did you think about Jayden's performance, Mr. Heisman voter?
Absolutely. I mean, just epic. And I'm pleased to see some of the commentary that's been coming out over the last 5 days. I've always thought this issue about, two things. First of all, when we talked about this as well, we talked about it on Whiskey and Wine, and then I tweeted about it on Monday. You gotta view the caliber of the opposition that the player has been playing up to the point that you're judging them. And Oregon, up to this point, really hasn't played anybody close to the schedule that Jayden has played. And yet Jayden's numbers are still better. So, that is spectacular. And then the whole idea about penalizing someone because their team has 3 losses. If your team has more losses, that's indicative of your team having a weakness. And if your team has a weakness and you're still that good and you're still having that type of a season, that actually should amplify the production. I'll give you a perfect example. In 2018, my Heisman pick was for Jonathan Taylor from Wisconsin.
Okay.
It was my own. I was the only person who gave him a first pick. The number 1 pick for the Heisman vote was me. He ran for 2,194 yards on a Wisconsin team that had 3 losses. That meant every single time Wisconsin lined up against an opponent, 11 guys on the defense were only looking at one cat on the other side, and that was him. And he still ran for 2,194 yards. That's an epic performance, and he came in 9th in the Heisman vote. And that's unconscionable.
Sometimes I do feel like, I'm not saying this was, and it's your vote, it's your prerogative to do with it what you will. Sometimes I think that voters do try to outsmart the room. But the other part of it is, I think sometimes people vote. No, wait, but let me just finish my point. I think sometimes people vote because they want to vote for the winner. You see this in politics as well sometimes. You don't vote for the person that you actually want to vote for. You want to vote for the winner, or the person you think who has a chance to win. So you'd rather influence the outcome as opposed to cast your vote as you see fit. I'm not saying that. Look, you might remember the name. I've used this before, Russ. There was a kid from Boston College who had a 2,000-yard rushing season.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe 10 years ago. I'm blanking on his name. But Andre Williams, does that sound right? Andre Williams from Boston College? Anyway, but I thought he was the most outstanding because it's exactly what you just mentioned. Every game they played, he was facing 9-man boxes, and he still ran for 2,000 yards because he was sensational. But nobody gave him a sniff because he was on a bad team. So I don't know, man. I'm curious how it goes with Jayden. We're obviously all pulling for him here. He's the best player, but is he just going to be penalized because the next 2 weeks he's not going to be playing in a meaningful game?
Yeah, Dante Foreman is another example of somebody, in 2016, Lamar won that year. I think Dante was my second pick. I think I gave him my second vote. I don't remember. But another example where a cat, had over 2,000 yards rushing on a Texas team that went 3-6. 3-6? I mean, I guarantee you everybody Texas played that year just lined up and said, where's Foreman?
Yeah.
And he still runs for over 2,000 yards. That's very impressive. I want to point out, too, I've heard a lot of people talk about, RG3 and Tebow and Lamar having 3 or more losses and winning it. It's not just that. If you look back historically at the award until 2000, it often went to somebody that had 3 losses. You had Bo Jackson had 3, Charles Rodgers, Plunkett, Steve Owens, Gary Beeben, Mike Garrett, Ernie Davis. There's a lot of cats that had 3 losses or 2 losses and a tie during the regular season who won the Heisman. So, that given how epic Jayden's season is, I saw Cody Warsham tweeted out something where he was showing that historically, if you look at the Jayden Daniels versus all the Heisman winning quarterbacks in the last 13 years, it's only Joe Burrow and he who threw for over 400 yards a game and had an efficiency rating of over 200.
Yeah, it's incredible. LSU's doing their job, man. I mean, the hype machine, the propaganda machine, call it whatever you want. The spin, I mean, they are pumping out Jayden content. But it's exactly. You have to campaign. They are doing exactly what they should be doing and consistently pointing out how dominant his season has been.
T-Bob asked me when we were doing the whiskey and wine, and he said, because I said, you got a lobby, and he said something about, he's so much fun, by the way. He said, yeah, absolutely, you got a lobby. You got a lobby. That's part of the game. You got to make sure people are paying attention, particularly when we end the season. I said, particularly when LSU ends the season with Georgia Southern. You remember I told you back in August that this was going to look really ugly when we got to November. And this looks just really, really ugly.
Well, this week sucks in college football. It just does. It sucks. I mean, it's why I always push back on the idea of college football's sacred regular season. It's just crap. I mean, They just force feed you garbage games in late November because they want to check. It's so stupid. Can we just play 12 games that everybody wants to see instead of this? What an absolute atrocity. We're only going to get it's the middle of November. We're going to get 3 conference games this weekend. 3.
I know, it's terrible. Especially when we had such a great weekend last weekend, the build up around the Georgia Ole Miss. How about Georgia? I mean, just fantastic how that team's coming together. Really steady. Really impressed with Carson Beck. I mean, 72% completion percentage against Ole Miss, 18-25 for 300 plus. But it's not just that. It's just that whole Georgia team right now is so steady. 14 points, 10 points, 14 points, only 5 penalties. Really, really impressive. Really impressive with how Georgia's playing right now. In fact, if I had to pick one team and put my house on it, it's a 2-time defending champion, but I'd pick Georgia.
Georgia over Bama right now, who's also playing really good?
Absolutely. I think Bama's playing well, but and improving slightly, but they're not playing at the same efficiency rating as Georgia is. And, I still think if Bama had come to LSU and played LSU in Baton Rouge, I think LSU wins that game, if not for the cheap shot on Daniels. So, I think Georgia will, on a neutral field in Atlanta, I think Georgia wins that game. But we can save that conversation for a couple weeks.
All right, he's on Twitter at Russ Mitchell CFB. Before we grab a break, let me get a thought on the 2 firings. Jimbo and Zach Arnett.
Well, we've been talking about Jimbo now and predicting that for 4 or 5 weeks, 6 weeks, however long it's been. So, I mean, I don't think anybody that listens to your show is particularly surprised. I mean, it's just a ridiculous amount of money. I mean, it's just really, really a stupid amount of money to give to somebody to not coach. And it's just, it's just goes to show you what a ridiculous environment. And, I've made it very clear how I stand on, NIL and paying players, giving them a percentage of the money that's floating around in this sport right now, right? $2 billion a year, whatever this sport generates. But I don't want to listen to anybody tell me there's not enough money to go around when we're giving coaches $80 million to sit on the sidelines, right? It's just stupid. And Arnett, I think that we should I think he's a great young coach. I think he'll go on and be a great head coach. Yeah, I do. I've been impressed with him. It was just too early. And, to try to switch that program around that quickly and change pretty much the entire identity of the program overnight without any players, what did everybody think was going to happen?
What's his fault? That's a dumb decision.
Well, I think that
I don't know, man. I disagree with you. He's one of the least impressive guys I've ever had the displeasure of interviewing. I call that in Hoover. It's like, this guy is not. I've got your father's cell phone number. I'm gonna call him. Do it.
And tell him how disappointed I am in you.
You know what he's gonna tell you?
Speaking.
He's gonna tell you Matt's right. Because he is my perpetual defender. That's my dad. All right, hang on. We got a break. We'll come back. Russ is with us. I got to get a thought on the 3 games this weekend. We'll get some playoff talk in as well. We're brought to you by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. Theantiagingclinics.com. Semaglutide for weight loss. They got it. Go for that consultation and hormone replacement therapy. You want to look and feel like your younger self. They can help. theantiagingclinics.com, theantiagingclinics.com, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online, theantiagingclinics.com. Okay, we continue with Russ Mitchell. When we return, we got Otter Locks in 15 minutes, ton to do. Stay here, AFR.
AFR.
Love telling you about all the great events going on over at Tallulah inside the Renaissance Hotel. As a matter of fact, tonight at 6:30, you are invited to a 5-course wine pairing dinner featuring Vocal Cellars. It's $100 a person. I know we're getting there. They start in an hour. So if you're thinking about getting out and doing something tonight, get on by Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel. 5-course pairing dinner featuring Vocal Cellars tonight at Tallulah inside the Renaissance Hotel. Tallulah is a casual upscale dining experience. Chef Jason Hebert has won award after award, trained up in Maine, New York City, San Francisco, points in between some of the finest food cities in the country and the world, and he's brought that back home to Baton Rouge at Tallulah inside the Renaissance Hotel. Don't think of this as like a hotel restaurant where you can eat some buffet food. No. Tallulah is a dining experience inside the Renaissance Hotel. Get on by and see him right there on Blue Bonnet. Tallulah inside the Renaissance Hotel.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $20,000 off MSRP on new 23 Ram 1500 trucks. $20,000 off plus no payments for 90 days on new 23 Ram 1500 trucks. All with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
It was a humid day. Barefoot children play. Looking for that summer shade. Time just slips away. Some kind of hold on me. Like cypress stumps, your roots are planted deep inside of me.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Scooncha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water. They can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines. Or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. All of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, they've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family, a front-to-back boat service.
Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
His name was Cain. He had a horse along the
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Pluckers Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Pluckers Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
All right, hanging out with Russ Mitchell, college football news. Hey, before we get into this weekend's games, I did want to ask, with Jimbo and Zach Arnett out, do you have a thought, a feel, a lean? What is a realistic best case as far as candidates for those two programs?
How about we go back to the well and start Vegas?
Mullen?
Yeah, I think so. You know, I mean, if he'd be interested in doing that, he said that.
You're really low. I don't know if your mic's down or.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, there we go. Perfect.
Yeah, you know, he has said that was the place that he's enjoyed coaching the most. I don't know if he said that just because the job's open now and he's on TV. But yeah, you know, he was great. They had them ranked #1 in America.
Yes.
You know, like Mississippi State ranked #1 in America. That's just like the world should have stopped on its axis the moment that happened. So, you know, if they can get him and he can go back there, then that would be a best case scenario for State. And I think it would be a very, very good case scenario for Dan.
It's almost like Greg Schiano, right? Going back to Rutgers. He flew the coop.
Yeah.
He tried to see if the grass was greener. It wasn't. He ends up back at Rutgers, and he's going to do just fine. They're about as good as you can. I mean, that does make sense. What about A&M?
You know, I don't know yet. I think there's a lot of opportunity there. I know they're throwing around some names like I think they're throwing around some names like Lane Kiffin. If I was Lane Kiffin, I don't think that's the job I take. They certainly have more money than you know what. They've got unlimited amount of resources, but that's a program that even with all those things and even with some good coaches really hasn't done very much. 30 years.
Yeah, their last conference title was 98 in the Big 12.
Yeah, so you got to ask yourself, you know, what's really, why can't they win there? And now with Texas coming into the SEC and Oklahoma, you know, I think it's going to be even harder. I know that the college football playoff is expanding and we'll get to 12, you know, but I think that if I was Kiffin, I would not take that job.
Oh, I agree. What about Mike Elko? Or that seems like a very obvious and easy one. He was the DC there. He's done a great job at Duke. Is that not something that just feels obvious?
I think he'll get the interview. I don't know if that's of a name caliber that the people that are carrying wallets that big in their pocket want. I think they want a name that, you know, Like, I mean, these crazy people throw around names like Saban, you know what I mean? Like they're ridiculous. They're ridiculous on a whole different level of ridiculousness. You know, like Alabama fans are ridiculous. LSU fans are ridiculous. Florida fans are ridiculous. A&M fans, they live in a world where they think money truly buys anything. And it doesn't. As we saw, it might buy you a number one recruiting class, but you still have to have a program together that can keep those kids and nurture them and build out the pro. And you can't do that just with money.
Boy, it's going to be fascinating to see what route they go because for all you said, that's going to be an in-demand job because of all the resources they have. All right, Russ Mitchell's with us, college football news. Let's talk about, there's only 3 conference games this weekend. Of greatest import, of course, would be Georgia at Tennessee. Georgia's rolling, but now they got to go on the road to Rocky Top. Any challenge there at all for the Bulldogs going on the road up to Knoxville?
I don't know. I think when Tennessee's offense is rolling, they can push the tempo and make the opponent play out of their comfort zone, and they can hit fast. But I just don't see Tennessee, even at home, I don't see Tennessee's offense being able to roll against this Georgia defense. Georgia's defense is just frightening, man. Terrifying. That defense is really good. And I guarantee you that in addition to the fact that the whole team, not just Carson Beck, but the whole team is playing very consistently, very steadily right now here at the end of the season. They know exactly what's on the line with this game and with Alabama coming up in the title game, particularly since, as I'm sure you've talked about, there's a lot of teams still in the hunt for the playoff. There's a very, very good chance. A very good chance that one seriously legitimate team is going to get left out of this merry-go-round 4-team playoff. So if I'm Georgia, I don't want it to be me. Even with my pedigree, even being a 2-time defending champion, I don't want to go into that Alabama game with 1 loss. So I'll be very focused when I go to Knox Vegas.
Florida and Mizzou. Mizzou's found their way into the top 10. Florida has to either win it at Missouri or at home against Florida State to get to bowl eligibility. What a predicament old Sunbelt Billy has found himself in there.
Yeah, and I don't see them winning either of them, not after I saw them play. I mean, I've watched every game, every Florida game this year, and I've watched the LSU one in person. Everything, we're at the end of the year, y'all. I mean, everything that we think is real now, we no longer have to guess. That defense is terrible, man. I mean, terrible. In some ways, worse than LSU's defense. They give up horrific big plays, horrific number of big plays. And here comes a Mizzou offense that can get big plays, that's throwing the ball well. Cody Schrader's running like a boss. I just don't see, particularly in Missouri, if it was in the swamp, maybe, but they lost in the swamp to Arkansas 2 weeks ago, man. They're not going to beat Missouri in Columbia.
Just out of obligation, Kentucky, South Carolina. I mean, any thought at all?
So if Kentucky can run for over 100 yards, they're 6-1. When they can't run for over 100 yards, they're 0-3.
Wow.
Well, South Carolina has allowed teams to run for basically everybody to run for over 100 yards except for Furman, who's an FCS school. I'm surprised they don't play them in November. And Florida and State, and the only reason why the Gators and State didn't run for over 100 was because they threw for over 400. See, I feel pretty confident Kentucky will run for over 100, which will bump them up to 7-1 when they do that.
All right. The big one that everybody's waiting on, the countdown to LSU and Georgia State, the Tigers and the Panthers, the Battle of the Cats in Tiger Stadium on ESPN2. I don't know. I didn't want to talk about this one, but you made sure I put it on the list to talk about. So why do you want to talk about this one?
I just realized, I am there's only a couple things in life that I'm really good at. and one of them's football. And I'm like lethal in a bar with mascot names. But it just dawned on me, I don't know what the Georgia Southern mascot is. Is it the Eagles?
No, Georgia State. You got the wrong.
Sorry, Georgia
you got
State.
the wrong direction.
I did.
Georgia
I
team.
did.
These are the Georgia State Panthers that are coming to Tiger Stadium this
That's
week.
right. The Panthers.
Yeah.
This is a team that had a wonderful start. They started the season 6-1 and were really rolling, but in the Sun Belt. In the Sun Belt, we're playing a Sun Belt team in the middle of November, man. I mean, listen, if you are anyway associated with the LSU athletic administration, shame on you, man. Shame on you.
Verge, he's pointing a finger at you, dude.
Shame on you, man.
I'm gonna see Verge. He's gonna be like, man, why are you letting me say that?
Georgia State.
Because everybody else is doing it, man. What you gonna do? The league makes the league schedule. You got to fill your schedule with somebody.
Well, play them in the beginning of the year.
Or how about we play 12 games that people want to watch?
No kidding. I cannot wait. By the way, just so you know, and I'm sure you're going to break this game down, Georgia State's fallen apart now. There are too many turnovers. Passing game isn't sharp. They can't score any points, and their defense has stopped playing. And, oh, here comes Jayden. Oh, by the way, Jayden Daniels, who needs to pad stats. This is going to be stupid, man. I mean, he might go for, I don't know.
They put 62 on Army. Whatever you say is within
He
reason.
didn't play in the second half.
I know.
He didn't play in the second half. If he had played in the second half, and if he'd cared, I mean, I hate this, but he needs to care the whole game. You know, he needs to try to put up 800 yards. He's just stupid. He needs to just keep scoring and keep scoring. And then Kelly just needs to walk across the field with his head down and just like with a really shamed look on his face and go up to the other coach and say, terribly sorry about that. Really sorry that we I'm really, really sorry. And we'll play you. We'll play you again in November just to give you some more money.
Russ Mitchell, college football news. Great to visit. We appreciate you as always. Let's talk next week when we have real games to talk about.
Everybody take care.
See ya. It's After Further Review, brought to you by Shaw Bills. Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service. ShawBillsTire.com. Y'all, Thanksgiving is coming up on Thursday, a week from tomorrow. So if you're hitting the road, make sure before you do, get your vehicle checked out at Shaw Bills. You need the tires rotated. You need the oil changed. You need that check engine light on, the brakes squeaking, whatever it may be. Before you hit the road, make sure your vehicle's in tip-top shape. Our friends at Shaw Bills will take care of you. ShawBillsTire.com. And, of course, if you need to buy tires at name brand tires at wholesale prices, you want to go to Shaw Bills. They'll sell them to you cheaper than the membership clubs, the box stores, any other tire store. They'll give you great manufacturer's offer, great in-house offers. Ask about the Shaw Bills credit card. It couldn't be easier. It's Shaw Bills. ShawBillsTire.com. ShawBillsTire.com. Shaw Bills, where we keep you rolling. All right, final break of the show. Come back, do some Otter Locks. Muse, did you have 3 or did you have the hook last night on the Eastern Michigan game? Yeah,
Had 3.
All right, Otter had the hook. So Otter went 2-1 last night, but Muse and I, if you were playing with Muse and I, you went 1-1-1. So a big old, like, what do they say? It's like a tie is like kissing your sister or something. Or
That's what they say.
About a tie. That's what it was. So 1-1-1 last night. We'll see if we can do better tonight. Stay here. It's AFR.
AFR. It's a raving fan shout-out. Presented by Darren James & Associates, brokered by eXp Realty.
How about this one from Laura N? Darren is a wonderful realtor and a great person. I really enjoyed working with Darren. When I had a question, he always had the answer. He was always available and happy to help. What I liked about Darren was he worked for me and my best interest. It's a good feeling to have Darren representing you. He's the best realtor, and he's got a great team. I highly recommend Darren James & Associates, brokered by eXp Realty. That's a 5-star review. Go to Google, go to Zillow, go to any of the sites, and you'll see all these reviews roll in for Darren James. And the reason is pretty obvious, because he's the best. There's a reason Darren James sells more homes than anyone. He gives you exceptional customer service. He uses all of the latest marketing tools. And remember, the Guaranteed Sale Program. Agree to a price and a deadline. If Darren doesn't sell your home at that price by that deadline, he'll have your home bought with cash or he'll sell it for free for his half of the commission. It's Darren James.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Ford is taking $10,000 off MSRP on all new 23 Ford F-150 Black Widow trucks, plus $2,750 discount APR and 5.9% for 72 months. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
The importance of doing this Fortified program and offering it to people down here is, number one, the only real chance you're going to get to do this is when you put on a new roof or build new. And through companies like HUDCO, who's kind of leading the way in this thing, it's going to offer the customers a huge advantage in the insurance market and the price of their insurance.
You know, we're not looking to make a fortune off fortifying. We're trying to give you a better product than our competitor at the moment. I'm trying to do something that he can. I'm trying to give you something better. So a lot of these insurance shops, you're getting a re-roof, you're only paying your deductible. Let's sit down and talk about the Fortified and let's see what it does to your insurance premium. You're getting a steal.
Yeah.
You're getting a brand new roof and a Fortified certificate for your deductible, essentially. And I think we're rocking and rolling.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product is always customer satisfaction. Visit us online at Relief Windows.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Pluckers Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Pluckers Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Down the stretch we come, final segment on a Wednesday edition of AFR presented by Pluckers. One thing left to do, let's find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks, presented by Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs.
So we turn to the one and only, the incomparable and of an incomprehensible, the Outfather himself, Jimmy Otter. How are you?
Doing good, Matthew. How about you?
Doing really well. You had a 2-in-1 night last night. Muse and I pushed because we didn't have the hook, so 1-1-1 night for us. 3 more Maction games. How we feeling?
Actually, we have 2 today. Central Michigan.
Oh, that's right. My apologies.
Yeah, both go at 6 o'clock at about 8. Ohio, the Bright Smile, and Miami, Ohio versus Buffalo. So we actually gonna go with Bright Smile tonight.
Wait, it's happening again. Just hang up, call him back real quick. That gives me an opportunity to remind you about DraftKings. DraftKings, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. New customers, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code Baton Rouge. Make a $5 NBA bet. They'll give you $150 in bonus bets instantly, win or lose. It's at the DraftKings Sportsbook. Otter's here with us. He's about to give us 2 picks on the Maction. If you want to get in on the Maction tonight, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Remember, use the promo code Baton Rouge. Use the promo code Baton Rouge. Make a $5 NBA bet. They'll give you $150 in bonus bets instantly. That's at the DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. 21 and older, physically present in Louisiana. Select parishes only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/basketball terms. Licensing partner Golden Nugget Lake Charles. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-426-2537. All right, Otter, my apologies. Go ahead.
All right, we're going to go with double digits is a lot. I think they can be competitive at Ohio tonight. We're going to take Central Michigan plus 11.5 against Ohio. My favorite bet is actually Buffalo plus 7.5 against Miami, Ohio. Miami, Ohio is a good team, but this line is just a little bit too high as well. You get these same numbers, 11.5 and 7.5?
Absolutely.
Okay. And then the final one. Remember, we had one underplay last week on Buffalo. 3-0 at halftime, an easy 2010 final went easily under. Now, I'm not crazy about the line. It's going down from 41 to 37.5 check on Buffalo in Miami,
1 minute
Ohio.
remaining.
But the first 4 games of the year non-conference, Buffalo, all 4 games went over. The next 6 Maction games all went under. We're going to go with Buffalo under. The trend is your friend in the Maction. Stay under on prime time, boy.
All right, under. We're looking at 37 at DraftKings right now, so that number is getting low. If you feel comfortable, jump on it. Under 37. All right, Outerwear. Thursday, Jolie Pearl and Town Square Pizza.
There we go. Yes, indeed, downtown. The weather should, kind of be a little bit more mild than today. Come on by and see us. Town Square Pizza and Jolie Pearl, downtown Town Square, in the brand new library.
That doesn't fall down. Thank you, Otter.
See ya.
All right, be well. That'll do it for us here on a Wednesday edition of AFR. If you missed anything, AFR On Demand, presented by Breck Golf. Book your tee time, golf.breck.org. Muse, Paulie, I appreciate you. Have a great night. See you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, love telling you about our friends over at Pure Restoration. Mold Zero is now Pure Restoration. Mold Zero is now Pure Restoration. Mold Zero is now Pure Restoration. Same company, new name with an expanded menu of services. And their clients are vast. Yes, you got a single-family home and you got mold, they can absolutely come in, spray their patented non-toxic dry fog, be in and out in a matter of hours, and you're back in your home same day. But hospitals, universities, schools, workout facilities, gyms, police departments, city halls, restaurants, it's incredible. They had a 200,000 square foot job, Pure Restoration did. 200,000 square feet. They killed the mold and had the building reoccupied in 48 hours. It's Pure Restoration, pure-restoration.com. Check them out online. Learn more. pure-restoration.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $20,000 off MSRP on new 23 Ram 1500 trucks. $20,000 off plus no payments for 90 days on new 23 Ram 1500 trucks. All with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.